Alright, we should be live. I have multiple screens running today. I've got 2 screens so I can have my browser and see the
multi-screen's always good.
Yeah. Alright. See if my camera location is good.
Look good on my end.
Okay. I wanted it to be, you know, where if I'm looking at the podcast, I'm not looking. I mean, I'm looking at the podcast and the camera kind of at the same time, and then I can look over here to my browser. Let's see.
What was first order of business today?
Well, I'll make the official announcement or introduction here in a few minutes, and we'll talk, and I'll announce the topics. Give a few minutes here to see if we have the other guys join. I've got a new camera and a microphone coming that's going to be arriving in the mail here very soon.
Did you get one of those nice 1080p full HD ones?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I think it's 720 actually. I think it has 1080 capability, but I don't know if my internet connection is going to
handle that. What's
up, Purist Gamers? Okay, Mr. Ninja sent me a friend request. Okay, let me see if I can get him invited in here.
What's up, Purist Gamer? What's going on? And Mr. Ninja HD. I like Ninja HD. That's a really cool screen name, Ninja.
Cameron, what is your name in the Google circle, man? Because I don't see anything. Cameron, if you'll tell me what your name is in Google Plus, then I can search for you, I guess, because I don't see any invite or any friend request or anything. Okay, I got it, Cameron. Let me find you. All right, you should be getting an invite here any second, Cameron. All right, we're about to get started here. Come on, Cameron, if you're having problems, send a message in the chat so I'll know that you're having problems. Hopefully we'll get you in here in a minute.
And I am putting my Twitter in the comments so anybody can ask any questions if they have any.
Oh, yeah.
Something I should have done last time, but didn't.
I need to tweet. Oh, I see you got your lower third hooked up.
Yep.
Cool.
Oh, I came prepared. And at some point in the show, there's one small thing I want to talk about, something that happened today that was pretty big in the news.
Absolutely, we'll totally talk about it. How the fuck do you accept the invite? Let's see.
You said the F word on air.
I did, and we do occasionally drop the F-bomb on here, so it happens. Alright, I have the link here to the Hangout, and I will tweet it for Cameron. Alright, Cameron, I just, I don't know if it was a retweet or whatever, but I just sent you the link to the Google Hangout on your Twitter.
And Purist Gamer, thanks for the Twitter follow.
We will be doing the official introduction here in a minute, whoever's watching, and we'll talk about today's topic.
Hello.
Discussion.
What's going on, Cameron?
Hello.
Cameron, you in here? All right, man. Cool.
I'm so fucking stupid.
You gonna get your camera all hooked up?
Oh,
this Google Hangout thing is not as exactly as simple as it may seem. We have technical difficulties with it like every week right now.
But the only reason I use it is because it's better than Skype.
It's actually pretty awesome, you know, and I hope that here soon I will have it. I'll be like a Google
Master.
Hangout Pro, yeah.
Yeah. How do you change your picture in the Google Hangout? Like your background?
I've got a picture on mine. I think in your profile you can add a picture. And,
Alright, go on that now. Fuck me, it's cold. I'm freezing to death.
Who else you invite, Joe?
I've got one more person that I want to get in here. Well, actually, there's two others, but one of them I know is probably going to be joining us. All right, I think I've done everything I can do to do the invites.
I got
I think we'll. Huh?
No, you can. I got Purist Gamer's tweet, but it's not showing me that he actually tweeted back to me.
Okay.
I don't really like that.
I think we'll talk about gun violence and video games first. I think that's
Cool.
what we'll talk about. Wish Cameron would come on back. I think I heard the bell rings. That means someone else has joined.
I joined.
Okay, alright. Are you good now?
Me, yeah. I just trying to change my avatar in the background, but obviously it's pain in the boot because my webcam. Well, I don't have a webcam. I could come on my iPhone, but I don't know if the quality will be good enough or not.
Someone tried the phone last time, and they kept having a lot of technical difficulties. That might be something.
It's hard. It's hard.
You have to practice getting that down.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we're gonna roll with what we got. If you've just tuned in, or if you've been watching us goof around for like 20 minutes, I want to welcome you to the Next Gamer podcast. I'm Joe McClung, and we're broadcasting live from my channel, Mortarman TV. With us today, we have Nicholas Piera. Is that how you pronounce your last name, Nicholas?
Yes.
Is that close enough? Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, and then we have Cameron Constanti from Mr. Ninja HD on YouTube. He is a partner with the Next Gamer Network, and so I want to welcome you guys to the show. Today our topics are going to be Giovanna Ploman, Tampon Girl. She just recently went viral by putting a bloody tampon in her mouth.
Oh,
and
God.
Video games and violence, how they're related. That's a big controversial issue. And North Korea nuclear test. Is someone playing crickets on me? And Barack Obama's new proposal to ban assault rifles. So, all right, guys, introduce yourself so everybody will know who you are, please. Nicholas, why don't you go ahead and go first?
All right, my name is Nicholas Pereira. I write for an Android site called Android Meter. You can follow me on Twitter. It's at NJPereira92. And I just like throwing my 2 cents into everything that Mortarman says.
Anyway, hey, I'm Cameron Constanti. I'm from Mr. Ninja HD, and I'm a partner with the Next Gamer, as Joe helped me a lot, and yeah, everything Joe said.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm happy to have you guys on the show today, and yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started. We're running a little bit late, but that's all right. I think we're going to have a really good show. So yeah, let's talk about people blaming gun violence on video games. I've got a story here pulled up on my browser. The title of the article is Tommy Christopher blaming gun violence on video games like checking the wiring in your house while it's on fire. So I think what he's comparing it is it's pretty stupid. Tommy Christopher appeared on Current TV's The Young Turks tonight to discuss, and this article is from January 22nd, by the way. He appeared on The Young Turks and discussed his recent column about a popular anti-violent video game study that actually concludes guns are to blame. Host Sink Ugar started this segment by playing a clip of NRA executive Wayne LaPierre decrying violent video games in his post-Newtown press conference, followed by clips of media outlets echoing those sentiments. Christopher explained that in the study referenced by Morning Joe and other news programs, the effects that they were found are short-term aggressive behaviors, but that they were all kinds of flaws in the research. The samples were too small, but most importantly, the study states that there are 6 other things that are the way more important when it comes to aggressive behavior than video games, and one of them is access to guns. Yeah, that's a good point right there. I mean, if you want to stop the violence, well, first of all, you need to make sure that people with those tendencies don't have access to things that are going to hurt. You know, they could possibly bring a lot of harm on people. He mentioned earlier in the article about short-term behavior. So like when I'm playing a video game, most of the time I do it to relieve stress and to relax and to have fun. It's my entertainment. But there are times when I'm playing when I get angry, I get pissed off, and it puts me in a bad mood. And maybe for a few seconds I want to beat the hell out of somebody. But I've never once seriously thought about getting a gun and going out somewhere in public and putting harm on someone. Although sometimes I will admit it would feel good for a minute. Then you could like snap your fingers and take it back and like, oh, I'm just kidding.
I'm just kidding.
But I do think maybe there's some short-term anger there, but within just a few minutes, it's gone. I'm back to my normal self, back to square one. So yeah, there might be some short-term anger issues with the average person playing a video game. I know that it happens to me. I get angry or upset, but I've never once opened my door and left my house angry because of it.
I always rage because I have to get gameplays and stuff, as it's like my main thing. So you do feel like killing someone after a while, I must say.
It's all the campers' fault. I hate campers.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
But
campers in Call of Duty.
I think that there's a big difference between literally wanting to go kill someone and then imagining going and killing someone. And the difference between us and the people that have done it are simply because they've done it. They have done it, and I don't think that it was because of a video game. I think it's a little far-fetched to think that some kid plays a video game and then goes and kills people because of it. However, though, I have to admit that there's a funny joke running in this house. When it does happen, I talk about their kill-death ratio. I know that's probably pretty sick, but I'm like, the dude at the Sandy Hook had like a 26-1 kill-death ratio. That's pretty awesome, actually.
26-1. No, it was like 26-1.
Yeah, so that's a pretty good kill-death ratio. Even though I'm not literally making a joke at the expense of all those children and innocent people at that school.
No, of course not.
It's better than me.
I play video games, and kill-death ratio is a pretty normal thing in this house. So, yeah, we talk about the kill-death. There was a guy not long ago, though, that went on a little killing spree, a little short one, and he didn't kill himself, so he was perfect. He was like 5-0. 5.0 kill-death ratio, and he's going to have to suffer the consequences for that.
I think that people blaming shootings and everything else on video games is the most ridiculous thing ever. Because it's jumped around. It used to be blamed on MTV or rap music, and now it's video games. Yeah, rock and roll is the devil. You remember that? Rock and roll is the devil.
Yeah.
So it's whatever is relevant at that point in time where somebody wants to say this is the cause for gun violence. It's whatever is the most popular thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't have a clue what you're on about. Like, devil is the rock and roll.
Yeah, I think it's just short-term anger, and the average normal person that doesn't have any psychological problems is going to be just fine with the game. something like steroids, maybe. You know, they say that steroids can cause anger issues. I know that that's not true, but I would say that if someone had a angry type of personality or had a bad temper, that it certainly wouldn't hurt. It probably isn't a good idea for that person to be taking steroids, because it does add a lot of testosterone and increase your possibilities of having anger. So maybe if someone had that type of personality, maybe playing a video game isn't a good idea for them if they can't find it enjoyable or stress, you know, a way to relieve stress.
Yeah.
I'm going to look further down into this article. He says, after quoting the flaws of other similar studies, Christopher told Ugar, I went into this with an open mind because I'm a parent, and I come away from it less worried than I was before. But I say, let's study it. But let's not pretend that this is the in the same ballpark as access to guns. To me, this is like checking the wiring in your house while it's on fire. Ultimately, Christopher's conclusion at the end of the segment was, if we're really worried about the effects these games have on kids, then the last thing we want them to have access to is these video games and guns. Yeah, I mean, if parents have a problem with their kids playing the video game, then don't let them have access to the video game.
They have to buy it from anyway, so...
I mean, you should be seeing signs. If your kid's really having an issue with this video game, he's going to be throwing his controller. His console's going to break every 3 days. Like, there's going to be signs that your kid really has an issue with his video games.
Oops.
Right. I've never broken a controller since I started playing Xbox.
I have.
I've never thrown my controller. I've never done any damage to my console. I have thrown a keyboard before.
The last time I threw a controller, and I was honestly mad was probably when I was playing like Duck Hunt, you know, when you shot him on the wall, and I was terrible.
Talk about things that he's thrown when he gets
Duck Hunt got you pissed off?
Yeah.
That just doesn't sound like a game I could get pissed off at.
It is.
Oh man.
I think I just got a bad glitch, and that's why. Because every time I shot at him, it would never hit. It would never hit. So I think it was just some sort of glitch with my controller of the game, but I never managed to hit any. I was like, 0 out of 100.
1 second, I'm just trying to use XSplit and cut half my screen off and then post it to my channel. Trying to find a good way.
Hey, Mortarman, it looks like he knows how to use XSplit.
I do know how to use XSplit to some extent. I'm not a pro at it yet.
I'm getting there. It depends on how you use it. In ways it's easy, in some ways it's bloody difficult, like delay and stuff.
I'm trying to figure out the benefit of using XSplit with Google Hangout. The only thing I can think of right now is that XSplit will allow you to add media and add graphics and stuff into it, but I have not figured out how to get that to transfer into the Hangout successfully and use it the way that I want to. And Nicholas and I have talked about that somewhat so far. Hopefully soon I will have the whole new look and layout to my Google Hangout. I'll have all new graphics covering the whole screen, hopefully. So maybe with
I'm going to share this.
We can figure that out.
I'm going to share the link to this live feed on Twitter and Facebook and Google Plus, so that all the Android Meter followers can view and throw in their comments.
Yeah, does anyone, I really, really badly need a graphics designer. Honestly, I've got nothing, I need avatars and stuff.
What's going on? Holler at me.
Do you honestly do it?
I do it all.
Alright, nice.
I'm actually writing some PHP scripts while I'm doing this hangout.
Nice. I'll have to speak to you on Skype or something.
Yeah, after the hangout, just tweet me your Skype name and we'll get it done.
Sure. How is it cold near you, or is it just me that I'm freezing to death?
Where are you?
I'm in England.
How cold is it?
About -3.
Seriously?
Serious.
Celsius
Wow,
or
it's really
Fahrenheit?
cold there right now. Huh?
Celsius.
Oh,
Yeah,
so it's
Celsius.
like 29 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's one behind you.
It's 21 degrees here, where I'm at.
Where are you from?
East coast of the U.S.
I see.
We got snow last night too. It was terrible.
Same. It was really bad. I looked out my window as like, cause I've got like a little office in my attic type of thing, so we've got it like converted. So I opened my window, and all the fucking snow fell on my head.
When I got in my car, some of the snow from the top of the car got on me.
Joe's like, "What snow?"
We have it here on occasion. It does happen. It's not that common, but we do have it.
Yeah.
I'm doing a Google Plus post right now. Then we'll get back on topic.
Yep.
Okay. While I do that, I'm just gonna nip. Wait, someone's just joined.
I think I heard the bell.
What's up?
Who do we have with us?
Ryan, Tanky Toddler.
Oh, what's up, buddy? I'm
How you
looking
doing?
at a different screen. I'm glad you chimed in because we were talking about the video game violence topic.
Awesome, yeah, I have a lot to say about that.
Yeah. I'm doing a Google Plus post right quick.
Alright. Yeah, I wrote a paper and a speech about that, I think, my sophomore year of high school. And then also sophomore year of college and senior year of high school.
Perfect. This ought to be right up your alley.
Yep. Pretty much. For the most part.
Two Stories in Black. What can we call that one?
One second, we're back in about 2 minutes.
Okay, so what is this?
All right, hurry back.
This one that I'm at right now.
What's
It's white.
the link to the YouTube?
Okay.
Do what now?
Actually, here,
The
no,
link?
I can find it.
Okay.
I'm gonna tweet it out.
And
Blogging on my site here.
Alright, hold on, I'll be right back.
okay. All right, I got that sent out.
Joe,
Yes.
have you ever thought of like posting this on like foreign websites, like the tech game and stuff, for like podcasts and stuff?
No, actually, I haven't. Hadn't even thought about it.
Because you might gain a couple of people, and then they might subscribe and like the podcast and stuff.
Yeah, I would definitely like to spread the word around other countries and stuff.
Yeah, do you want me to do a quick post for you now?
Yeah, that'd be great. Any website that you're familiar with that you have that you can post on. I'm not even a member of some of those other websites. So
Yeah.
Ryan, introduce yourself right quick, and then we will add you into the conversation for video games and gun violence.
Okay, my name is Ryan. Tanky Toddler is my YouTube channel. 22 years old. I'm in college. It's going on my 4th year, but I think I'm going to be in college for 2 more years. I live in Iowa. That's pretty much all about me.
Okay, cool. Let's
Different.
let's hear your thoughts and opinions about video games related to gun violence.
All right. What I kind of talked about in my paper. My paper was more on media in general, with music, TV, movies, and video games as well. And actually, in my argument, I wasn't even I was making it for like less violence and all that stuff, and I didn't really agree with it. So what I learned from it is that music is one of the biggest parts about it. Music is really just as much of an influence as something as gaming would be for violent wise and stuff like that. But my thing with gaming is it's really not the game that does it. It's more about the parents. There's a lot of little kids playing a game where they probably shouldn't be, but the parents aren't there to really watch and really be a parent to the child. Like somebody that's like 12 or 13 probably shouldn't be playing like Grand Theft Auto, but their parents let them just because they're not really in the life with them. You know what I mean, like that.
Right.
And then the other thing I have a problem with people blaming in these shooting situations is that they like to find a reason for it. Like they like to be like find something like, oh, that's the reason he did this, that's the reason it's that fault. When really it was just kind of like the guy's just messed up. He had a mental disability with going with the Connecticut shooting. The guy had a mental problem, he had a mental disability. When there's like millions of people on Call of Duty, just because you play Call of Duty doesn't mean you're gonna take a gun and shoot people. It's just like
but see, I agree with your point before. When I go and play online, which I hardly ever do, the only people I hear is like 13-year-old kids.
Yeah, and like Call of Duty isn't really a super violent game. Maybe the campaign's a little bit more violent than multiplayer for sure. But the parents should be there to watch it and be knowing what they're playing. Because instead they use the video game as a babysitter rather than them like interacting. Because I read an article about all the benefits of gaming. Like if you guys are familiar with Portal 2. How that's so good because you have to find like different answers for solutions because it's kind of like helping them with mental capability. It kind of helps them solve problems, and when they do something wrong, they try to have to go back and think, okay, how should I figure this out? So there's a lot of benefits of gaming that people don't really talk about, and they're the first ones that mentioned shooting games, which is just one genre of video games, but they like to clump it as a whole.
You know, you can get hand-eye coordination. You know, a lot of things like that from playing a video game. You know, there are some benefits to it. You know, it can help your focus and attention to detail. You know, some people aren't very sociable outside, you know, in public, and on a video game like Xbox Live, they get to socialize and improve some of their social skills with other people. Now, sometimes, you know, the lobby can get, you know, a lot of foul language, a lot of people yelling and screaming at each other, but it is a good way to meet people. You know, like I have friends that I know from Xbox Live that I've known for longer than 2 years, people that I talk to almost daily, whereas I have other friends that I know personally that I grew up with or went to school with that I've known for 30-plus years, and I rarely even talk to them people. You know, they've moved away, or they've got wives and kids, or, you know, work that's, you know, people have their own lives. And when I talk to, you know, my friends online, I mean, we all have one thing in common. We play video games.
Yeah, exactly.
Or we do YouTube, you know, or something like that. And those are actually the kind of people that I talk to on a daily basis. I don't talk to someone that I grew up with or went to school with. Very rarely do I talk to them. So I think video games can help your social aspect of your life. And if somebody is having, you know, somebody's got some mental issues, then maybe video games isn't for them. Maybe it, you know, I've heard though it does help kids with autism some.
Yeah, I've heard about that too.
All right. So I do odd jobs on the side all the time, because obviously internet blogging is not going to make me rich. And this is hilarious, honestly, because I did not know this was the topic of discussion. All right, next Wednesday at 2 p.m. I have a 5-hour meeting, and what I have to do is I have to go in, I have to play a non-violent video game. They attach all these nodes to your head. They look at your brainwaves. Then they switch it to a violent video game. Again, do the same thing, and I'm getting paid $200 for it.
Really?
That's weird.
They're actually going to do a study, a real study.
What are they trying to
with you.
find?
That's awesome.
Are they trying to find like a different like brain activity and like?
They're trying to find. I guess because I have to go into an MRI too, so they're going to take like 300 pictures of my brain. I guess what they're trying to see is if, like, what playing the violent video game does. Does it release pleasure endorphins? Does it release, you know, does it stress relieve? I guess they're just trying to figure out exactly how you react to playing a violent video game versus a non-violent video game. You know, are you bored playing that non-violent video game? Is that boring you because it's not, you know, killing people? I don't know.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, wait a minute.
And a bunch of pictures of my brain.
Are you saying that there are video games that are not violent? Because I don't know of any.
I guess if you play like a Barbie doll video game.
Call of Duty is the only violent video game I actually play. All the other games are sports games I have.
Actually, there was this one game I played called Naughty Bear.
They get violent on FIFA.
Yeah, well, in NHL you fight each other, but I mean...
I was playing this game called Naughty Bear, and you're a teddy bear, and you go around ripping apart other teddy bears and chopping off their heads with machetes and stuff. It was a kid's game. It was a kid's game. And all you do is go around, like, one of the special moves is you can tear, like, literally the other bear apart. You hack them with machetes, cut them up with chainsaws, like...
Yeah, that was the other thing in my report, too, like, against the violence in media. There was a study, I don't remember the years, this is a long time ago now, I don't remember the actual numbers, but it was, children would see over, like, 1,000 deaths on TV a year from just TV shows, and compared to, like, before, they maybe would see, like, 100 deaths, and, but the thing what they also said in the study is that most of the time, the good guys actually win out. So it really wouldn't cost somebody to, because they kind of show that the bad guys don't usually win in those situations with all like the CSI shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, like most of the stuff, like M rating, you can't buy the violent video game. I mean, I guess the Naughty Bear, whatever it's called, because I've seen that game before. I don't know what rating it is. But yeah, there's gonna be some.
At least they do try to limit the video games that a young kid can walk into GameStop and purchase. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, have you guys ever seen Happy Wheels?
Yeah.
That's got to be the most graphic video game I think I've ever seen in my life.
What is it called?
How simple it is, too. Happy Wheels?
It's called Happy Wheels. It's a 2D video game. It's 2D, and you ride like this bicycle or whatever through this obstacle course, and various things chop your head off, and blood shoots out of your body, and it's gory. I mean,
I'm gonna play it right now, and I'm gonna give you my opinion on it.
It's like a cartoon, so it's not like, you know, it's not realistic or intended to look realistic, but I've never played it. I've just seen videos of it on YouTube, and it's the most gory video game I think I've ever seen.
I've played it before, but like I said, even then, though, I play it, and I'm like, oh, hey, I'm not gonna go chop somebody's leg off or something like that.
Right, yeah. Even on your worst day, you're not going to get angry enough.
Kill somebody, and I'm not going to blame it on Call of Duty or something. It's like, Call of Duty made me so violent, it was crazy.
Right. You know what?
Oh wow, this pitchfork just stabbed a child in the face.
They set up maps where there's like saws and stuff. I've played that game before.
All we need is some guy to go on a killing rampage and then announce to the public or during the killing, Black Ops 2 made me do this just
that's the problem.
We'll never hear the end of it.
Yeah, what happened with that was I always mix up what country it was. I think it was Sweden when the guy had the gun and he took it into the children's camp.
Too much lag.
And the guy took it was a couple of years ago. It was either Netherlands or Sweden where the guy took a gun into the children's camp or whatever and shot some people.
I don't know.
He trained on Call of Duty. But it's like,
Call of Duty?
Yeah, but I've never shot a gun before, and I guarantee I won't be able to know how just from Call of Duty.
You've never
shot a gun? That's what he said. No, I haven't. No, the paintball gun. But I know my dad says he needs to take me out.
I'm a nerd, and I've shot a gun.
I know. My thing is, I'm really cheap, and I know how expensive it is. So
yeah, depending on what type of firearm you have, the ammunition can be very expensive.
Yeah, a buddy of mine was shooting the other day. It cost him $6 a bullet.
Yeah, I know it's expensive.
Yeah.
It was like I think it was a 50 cal Barrett sniper rifle.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It's a Subway sandwich. It's over a Subway sandwich.
At a minimum, it cost him $6 a bullet. It's probably more like about 8 or 10. But yeah.
What was he shooting?
Like
Barrett, I think is what he said.
Some big
50 caliber Barrett sniper rifle. It's a huge gun.
But if you can afford a $6,000 sniper rifle, you can probably afford a $6 bullet.
True that.
This is true. Yeah. I mean, my stance on it all is they try and use the we don't want criminals to or bad people to get their hands on guns, but from my experience in my life and all the people that I've known and ever talked to, if I really, and you're talking about somebody, just a regular computer programmer, if I wanted a gun, all it would take would be a couple phone calls, a couple $100, and boom. I don't have to wait 3 days. I don't have to get a special card. I don't have to go have a background check. It's as simple as that. Anybody can get a gun. It's very, very easy. Go anywhere where a large population is and somebody somewhere has a gun.
Yeah,
But why are you going to take it out of law? Why are you going to take guns out of the hands of law-abiding citizens? Then the only people left with guns are the criminals.
That's a good point. If I'm out in a public place and somebody starts shooting, I'm hoping that somebody near me's got a 38 revolver and a fanny pack.
Somebody just needs to put that dude down before he shoots other people.
They're only
Yeah.
banning assault rifles, right? I haven't followed the whole topip about the gun situation.
I've got an article that we're going to touch on. We're going to touch on that topic just a little bit. I have to admit that I'm not 100% up to speed on what's going on with that either.
It's
but-
different from each state too, I believe. Because I think then Connecticut was the one that you can't have guns. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I live right next to it. That's why I know.
Okay.
I live in Texas, and it's actually legal to own and possess a fully automatic weapon here. But there are permits involved. But you can have a fully automatic weapon here in Texas.
Rhode Island has some of the toughest gun laws in the country, the state I live in. We have some of the toughest gun laws in the country. It is so hard to get a gun in my state.
Well,
Sounds
Cameron lives in the UK, and you can't get a gun there. Cameron, is that right?
Yeah, you can. Or the most you can have is a friggin' air rifle or something.
Like a BB gun or something, right?
No, not a BB gun. Like literally, like it shoots out like the metal pellets.
Yeah, it's called a BB gun here.
Yeah,
Is
it's
it?
called a BB gun.
Yeah.
I got 'em.
All
Yeah.
right.
You have a pellet rifle and you have a BB gun. They're both shoot air. They're both air rifles. One shoots
Little metal balls.
a lead projectile that's small and it's kind of shaped,
Like
kind of like an aerodynamic piece of lead, and the other one shoots brass BBs, and they can hurt you, but I think it would be highly irregular for somebody to die from something like that.
Somebody
However,
would have to put a gun right at your eye and shoot a BB through your eye.
Yeah.
Like that would be the only possible way.
The softest,
Well, you can get a gun.
entrance.
You just have to go through a long process. You can buy them, but they're just really difficult.
Well, that's the way they need to make it here. If they don't want to ban them, they need to make it more difficult to get them.
Because I used to go hunting with my dad, and then we went into this like gun room, and you could see all like the shotguns, all the not air rifles, and then you just see like big snipers in the corner type of thing. But you're not allowed to go in that room if you don't have a license.
Yeah, I'm personally okay with the ban of assault rifles. I don't understand a situation where you'll need an assault rifle at home. I understand having like a pistol or something, or like a shotgun, or like a little rifle or something.
Well, and like my conspiracy channel I was doing the other day, what it comes down to is the Second Amendment right, which everybody knows that's the right to bear arms. The whole point of the Second Amendment was for you as an individual person have the right to defend yourself against a tyrannical government.
Yeah.
It was because of the British. The British wanted us under our control. We had guns and fought back. That was the whole reason for the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
I do not think that anything besides fully automatic weapons should be banned.
Yeah, but exactly.
I see no reason why somebody can't have an AR-15 in their house. I want an AR-15 when I can go afford one. I've shot it before. It's a cool rifle, and if somebody broke in my house, I would know how to use it. But it's not like I'm going to go out and shoot up a mall.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember the big bank robbery that happened in California? Those two guys had bulletproof vests on, body armor.
Oh yeah, and they were saying about how well prepared they were.
Yeah, they had a trunk full of weapons and ammunition, and they didn't even try to hide what they were doing. They just broad daylight, ski mask on, black fatigues, walked into a bank and said, "We're here. And we're taking your money, and there ain't shit you can do about it."
Yep.
And the police show up, and they're like, "Bring it on! We'll go on a full-on firefight with you guys. We don't give a damn." And that's exactly what they did. I don't know about you guys, but when I watch a movie or if I, a television program or even kind of on the news, I root for the bad guy. I don't know why, but I always have. I'm like, yeah, I want the bad guy to get away.
Because
like,
it's the underdog.
Yeah, root for the underdog.
Exactly.
If there's a car chase, I want that guy to get away.
Exactly.
If somebody robs the bank, I want to see him get away with it. I think deep down inside, it would be cool to be a bank robber just for a day and get away with it.
Is that just because you want to test authority? Is that one of are you one of those people that's always like, I want to stick it to the man?
Yeah, kinda. Even though I was in the military and I had no problem taking orders and I followed orders like I was supposed to, I have obedience, but in a kind of a twisted way, I wouldn't mind sticking it to the man every now and then,
It's because you're used to, following every order, so it's that little rebellious side of you that's like, I'm going to get you.
Maybe so.
Yeah. Plus, it's something you don't see very often, them get away, actually, or hear about. You guys heard about that bank? I don't know where the bank robbery was, but the one where the guy dug in underground and robbed a bank. Are you guys familiar with this story?
No. Go ahead with it.
It was like an Italian job thing. Like, I guess he was in a parking garage, and he dug underneath this big vault and took some millions of bucks, and they had it was just really complicated, and he didn't get caught. Nobody caught him except they have a sketch of what he looks like, just because he had been patrolling around the area for like a month. But he got underneath the vault. He blew up the whole thing. He just took the vault right from this underground tunnel, and I think the tunnel was maybe a couple 100 yards long. It was a really complicated system. It was kind of.
Did he make the tunnel, or was the tunnel already there?
Yeah, because it had support beams in it and everything. It was 4 feet around. He crawled right in there and stole everything.
And he got away with it.
Yeah, it's right now he does. Like I said, right now there's a sketch, but he hasn't. As far as I know, he hasn't been caught.
No suspect.
No.
All right, cool.
But on the sketch though, he has a huge mole right here, so it's like he might get caught if somebody just finds out.
Yeah, but he's got a couple $1 million. He can have that thing removed.
Exactly, he's gone. He has to be gone now.
He can have it removed if the doctor, if no one talks about him having it removed. Like, oh yeah, I'm the nurse at the doctor's office, and this guy came in and had this huge mole removed. Yeah, then he's busted. But if nobody talks, if he has enough money to make people shut up about it, he can have the mole removed. Like, what's that movie, Austin Powers, where he goes, "Holy moly!"
Yeah, it's like, whoa, dude.
Exactly.
He couldn't stop talking. He couldn't stop looking at the mole when he was talking to the guy. Great movie.
I mean, I do. Yeah, I don't think anybody needs an automatic weapon. I don't need an M60 that, I need a belt-fed, I don't need a belt-fed machine gun, all right? But I see nothing wrong with having an AR-15. It's a small, lightweight civilian rifle. It's fun to shoot. It's not like it's not like it shoots 50 caliber bullets or nothing, you know what I mean?
No, but it shoots one of the fastest rounds that exist. It shoots.
I do know that.
The 223 travels at over 2,800 feet per second and has no problem with going through a bulletproof vest. So. Did
you just read that off the thing, or did you actually know that?
I know that because I was in the infantry, and the M4 is the military version of the AR-15, and it's the reason that the military chose the M4 is because it's lightweight, it's highly maneuverable, mobile. It shoots a pretty affordable round as far as assault rifles go. It travels very, very fast and has pretty accurate at over 500, even 500 meters with open iron sights. So it's kind of like a mini sniper rifle. In the military's version of that round is a 5.56, which a civilian can't purchase. So it's a little bit more potent than the 223. The lead round in the Vietnam era, the M16, the lead round was known to tumble end over end and shred more flesh and do more damage. It was not uncommon for someone they expect that enemies got shot in the arm with an M16 in Vietnam and would usually have to have their whole arm amputated because it done so much damage. But the 5.56 round that they use today doesn't do that. It actually spins like it's supposed to. But yeah, it's a pretty dangerous weapon to be put in the hands of a civilian, actually, even though when you pick it up, it's lightweight. It only weighs 7 pounds. Well, I don't know about the civilian version, but it weighs 7 pounds. It has
the AR-15 weighs like 10.
Very little recoil. It's not really loud, so it doesn't seem to have that big of a bite. But trust me, you don't want to be on the receiving end of that.
Yeah, there's really no good answer about how to really ban weapons or what certain weapons, just because there's going to be crazy people out there that are going to find one way or another to get them. I think they're just trying to have less, because like especially the mass shootings, all those people, like they'll find ways if they're really determined to do that stuff. They'll find it. But I think with the AR ban, it probably might limit murders, really, I guess. But I don't know. Like I said, there's really no good answer, either to limit them or not limit them.
What I think, if you're going to ban something, it should be handguns, because I can conceal a handgun anywhere, walk into anywhere, and kill anyone. An AR-15, you can't really just, like, tuck it in your pants.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't really just, like, tuck it in your pants. A pistol, you can put it in your pocket. You know, pistols, I've seen the little tiny pistols. You should know what I'm talking about, Mortimer. You know the little, like, pocket ones?
Yeah.
I could hide that anywhere, come up behind somebody, and shoot them in the head. With an AR-15, it's not like I can just be like, oh... Look at this backpack. It's 6 feet long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not something that you can really conceal in public at all.
Yeah, I really don't think there's any real answer for it either. One politician suggested that we limit people on getting them now, and that gradually, over time, it will decrease the overall supply of weapons to the general public over time. Because, like, let's just say, for instance, for example, if they banned them today, and it was impossible for anyone within the limits of the United States to get a weapon of any kind, BB gun, pistol, shotgun, assault rifle, whatever, it would probably take decades for the supply of weapons to actually whittle down to nothing, because they're gun collectors, gun enthusiasts. They're going to hold on to their guns. When they pass away, they hand them down to their children or to their grandkids or whatever, so they're going to remain in the family. Slowly, the police and authorities will collect guns from criminals when crimes have been committed, and they put them into evidence. Those guns are being taken out of circulation, but the law-abiding citizens that own weapons will never be completely taken out of circulation. But I guess maybe it's possible over time that the population of guns could be whittled down.
If they did
no way to
every
just
gun
go around
overnight,
door
it
to
wouldn't
door.
work. It wouldn't work
Yeah.
if they did it overnight. If they banned every gun overnight, you would have riots in the streets that make the Rodney King riots look like small carnival parties. I mean, you don't understand. The issue's so split throughout the country, it's literally 50-50. You're going to have half the country flipping out. You're going to have more black market trades.
The NRA people would just, they wouldn't be able to sleep at night. I don't really get the whole obsession with guns. I think guns are cool. Yeah, if I had a gun, if I had an AR-15, I'd go to the range and shoot it. But I don't see the obsession with it. I don't see what there is about guns that people can't do without. I've got like 5 guns here in this house. Nothing extravagant. Nothing that you can't just get at the local gun store or Walmart. I've got some shotguns and a couple rifles, but nothing like assault level. Nothing with a pistol grip. You know what I'm saying? But I don't see the obsession with it. I don't see why people can't just do without them. Why do we have to have them?
If you live in my neighborhood, you want one. No,
Yeah,
seriously.
If somebody comes into this house uninvited and I have an opportunity, I will shoot them dead where they stand with my 12 gauge. I have no problem.
And you see where I stand.
Yeah,
And I won't lose any sleep over it. I won't lose any sleep. It will not have an emotional effect on me whatsoever. But if I didn't have the shotgun, then they're going to get a golf club or a baseball bat to the face. You know?
Yeah.
Either way, it still hurts.
Yeah, but see, you gotta think about it this way. If you kill the guy with a baseball bat, you're going to jail for murder. Maybe not in Texas, but if you killed somebody with a baseball bat, that's malicious, because you're going to have to hit them like 10 times in the head to crush their face. Then you're going to be like, well, why couldn't you just knock him out? With a gun, you shoot him once. If you kill him, you kill him. You only hit him once. You know what I mean? That's the difference.
You won't have time to get a gun though at some occasions. You know what I mean? So how many? Yeah. There's a lot of chances where people have been murdered that own guns. I don't know how many people. I guess I won't know statistic. How many times that gun actually saved them?
I keep one shotgun within arm's reach. It's actually about 7 feet from where I'm sitting right now.
And also some locations are different too. In Iowa, I don't feel too threatened.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel very threatened here either, but you can never tell.
It's the inner cities.
There's always
you can ban guns, but you can't ban crazy people. So.
Yeah.
Like me, I wouldn't. I mean, some of the parts in my state are pretty bad, man.
Where do you live again?
Like, Rhode Island, right on the East Coast. It's about a half an hour from Boston.
Ah, see.
But there's a stabbing or a shooting every night, 20 miles up the road.
Right there, check it out. He's got the Unabomber look.
Oh, that's Nicholas.
They look like the Unabomber, bro.
Jason's commenting on your hoodie.
I do not build bombs in shoeboxes. I just want to state that for the record.
The hoodie thing, it's like a Trayvon Martin.
Speaking of that, when I was in the Army, I had a buddy of mine who was a sapper. I don't know if you know what a sapper is. Timothy McVeigh was a sapper. He went to sapper school. That's an explosives expert, more or less.
Yep.
It's
combat
something that goes
engineer.
along it goes along the lines with combat engineer. If you're a combat engineer in the military, your ultimate goal is to become a sapper.
Are they behind us?
So I have a friend who I knew in the Army who was a sapper that actually trained with Timothy McVeigh. Yeah, I actually knew that guy. I mean, I don't know how well, but they did.
What did he say about? Did he act normal?
Yeah, he said he didn't act strange or anything. It was just like anyone else there. But they went to sapper school together. So I'm gonna pull up this article about. Well, actually, that's the video games and violence. I think we may have just had someone else join. I heard the bell.
I didn't hear it.
Yeah,
we did.
We got Mitchell.
Yeah, is that Hot Lava?
His mic might be muted.
Oh, hello. Yeah.
There you go.
It was muted.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks.
Give us an introduction.
I just came from work.
You what?
Just got home from work.
Just got home from work. Cool. Well, tell everybody who you are so everybody knows who you are.
Alright, so, Hot Lava HD. And, yeah. I've been on here the first episode just for a little bit.
That's right. But, yeah. You're on the first show with us. You got your lower third hooked up?
Did you say you had an article about your gun thing, or you had an article about the
yeah, I've
video
got
game?
an article. I've got an article here.
Yeah, Groovy Muffin. I thought it was a well-argued discussion as well. I like friendly debates when nobody's yelling. We're all just talking nicely and calmly. I like that.
Yeah. I can't really yell and argue. I don't know a whole lot about the situation. I don't even know the gun laws in Iowa. So.
Yeah, it's not a. This is not a heated debate. It's a discussion. You know, that's what I like.
It's not a Jerry Springer show.
Yeah, no.
You know, those are entertaining in their own aspects.
I see your thing says what in the butt.
I don't know why I put that when I got on. I just felt like it.
Do you know who sings that song?
I don't know I've seen the video. I don't know the guy's name at all.
His name's Samwell. He was on Tosh.0 the other night.
Was he? I I love Tosh Fano. I never get to watch.
Everybody
that show
loves Tosh, but how
Yeah,
can you not
exactly.
love
Oh,
Tosh?
yeah.
That's not
Fano?
true. Not everybody. He said some stuff that pissed people off.
I don't.
That guy-
You know what?
Anybody that has a sense of humor is what you're meaning to say.
Yeah, but
He
you know what?
is
He has freedom of
hilarious.
speech. He can say whatever he wants.
He got in so much trouble when he made a rape joke, and people just stormed
Yeah.
him on Twitter. It was crazy.
That guy is like he's like the TV version of Howard Stern. Like,
Oh yes.
he walks a very, very thin line of what you can and cannot do on television. Some of the stuff that I see him do, I'm like, man, how does he get away with it?
It's kind of like a Jackass type thing, like the show Jackass.
Oh man, and they blur out a lot of stuff, like the nudity and things like that. And I don't know if that guy is gay or straight. It's really hard to tell.
Oh,
That's
honey,
the-
is Tosh gay or straight?
Yeah, I mean, is he or
Straight.
not? I don't know.
That's what I've heard.
I think that he's
I saw an
straight
episode the other
and
night,
he's
he's
very comfortable with his sexuality. I think
He's
that's
got to
what
be
it
pretty
is.
comfortable because the other night I saw him. What was he doing? Blowing into people's butts because he was trying to do some Asian kiss
Money
thing.
talks. I'll say that.
Blowing their
Yeah.
butts.
I mean, he probably does. I mean, you're getting paid to do that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
He's
I don't know how
beyond-
much I would have to be paid to do that, but
I do it for free.
Yeah, he's beyond comfortable with his sexuality. That's for
yeah,
sure.
he's just a different character, which makes him
Yeah.
that much funnier.
Yeah, because he's just daring, man. There's nothing.
But
that
he'll
he
say
won't
whatever.
do.
He doesn't hold back anything. He will talk about any issue whatsoever,
Yeah.
and that's why I like him.
Have you ever seen a stand-up on Netflix? It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yep.
I like how when the show is over, he's just standing there with his hands straight beside his, down by his side, just kind of standing there, and they show the green screen in the background. Like, he has no particular cool stance about him or anything. Doesn't have his hands in his pockets or his arms crossed or nothing. He's just standing there.
Yeah,
You
and he
know,
always
but
wears
he's
those
still funny.
V-necks. that's why a
Yeah.
lot of people think
The V-necks with the cardigans.
Yeah,
he wears like the same type of outfit, different
Someone's
color.
joined again.
yeah. Is someone joining? You said.
Yeah. Yeah,
We have.
Steven.
Okay,
Hey, guys.
cool.
Hello.
What's up?
Nothing. I was just listening to your discussion, and actually I was trying to learn how to use Hangout, but I just was listening in.
Oh, great. Glad to have you. Why don't you give us a brief introduction about yourself right quick?
From what perspective?
Tell us who you are and what you do, and yeah, that'll work.
Okay, professionally I'm a computer geek
Yay.
in higher education. Rock on. But I actually was looking in the Hangouts and stumbled onto your discussion on the assault weapons ban, and that's kind of where it kind of led me into here.
Okay, great. Well, we're happy to have you.
All right.
Matter of fact, I've got an article pulled up on my browser. I was going to read a few lines from it because I'm not 100% educated on the whole issue as it's taking place right now. There is a senator named Senator Feinstein.
Feinstein.
Feinstein,
Mm-hmm.
and she has proposed a bill that would not ban assault weapon ownership, but it would ban the manufacture, sale, transfer, or importation of new assault weapons, as well as ban high-capacity magazines. So that sounds reasonable. It's not going to ban the ownership, but
No, you can keep the guns you have, but you can't buy any new ones. That's what it is.
yeah, it's going to stop the bleeding a little bit. Let's see, Senator Dianne Feinstein. How do you pronounce that? Feinstein? Feinstein. Okay. Of California on Thursday introduced long-promised legislation aimed at controlling assault weapons and high-capacity ammunition magazines. As critics note, assault weapon is a category of a firearm that's difficult to define. Millions of assault weapons and high-capacity magazines are already in the hands of private citizens. So how would Senator Feinstein new restrictions work? I think it's a decent proposal. There are going to be many people opposing it, and the chances of something like that going through are slim. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I don't think it's a bad idea. I guess. Like I said, I don't understand without like a recreational use, as in shooting range.
Mhm.
I don't see why you would need an assault rifle. And I've never, like I said, I've never been to a shooting range, but I'm not sure how it works. I could see something where like shooting range is having a gun to rent, if that makes sense. Like
They do
having
that
a
in
gun.
Vegas.
Do they have that already?
They have it in Vegas. You can go into Vegas and you go into a shooting. You go into like these pretty much. It's like a place you go and you rent a gun that you want to shoot. And if you're old enough to shoot that gun, you pay them however much you want for an hour, and you go in and shoot.
Yeah, I think that'd be a cool
Yeah.
idea for more shooting ranges, because that's what a lot of people own guns. Well, some are for protection, but the other ones are like my stepbrother, for instance. I think he has like 4 guns now, 2 shotguns and like some kind of rifle for hunting, and then a pistol or something. But some of it, all he does is take it to a shooting range, and I think that's more how they have fun with it. So I could see more states taking on a way to somebody to rent a gun at a shooting range.
Yeah, if they were keeping it in a controlled environment, that would be much more safe.
Yeah.
I think, keep it in a controlled environment. That way, people can still enjoy shooting the guns, but they're not endangering anyone, and there's probably supervision there too.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think
I
that would be
mean,
a good idea.
my whole thing is in my state so far. For as long as I've been alive, and for at least 20 years before that, there's never been a shooting that involved a legally registered gun.
Really, that's pretty impressive.
All the crimes are committed by either stolen weapons where the serial number was ground off, or any sort of variation of that. But there's never been a legal owner that went out and shot a whole bunch of people. I mean, we've had a husband that shot his wife inside of their home, things like that, but we've never had actually anybody go out and shoot up a mall or a school or a building or go out and kill somebody with
Those
a
are always
legally
rare
registered
instances,
gun.
though. You'll never be able to stop those people, even if you ban guns, like I say. But at the same time, it's weird. It sucks that it's a reality that people actually do that. But there's not a lot of chances for us to stop people like that, because how can you predict that somebody's going to go into a school or a mall? I think one was in Montreal. I think when the guy went to the mall, the Virginia Tech shooting, the Connecticut one, there's a few more. Because there was another one at New Mexico the other day, I believe. I haven't
We
read
talked about it
all
on the last
that.
podcast.
No, so it's just, there's not a lot of instances where you can predict what's going to happen and stop those people from getting guns or even just going out and shooting people like that.
I mean, like a husband killing their wife, or the wife killing the husband even, is like the most predictable death you could. I mean, what married couple doesn't want to kill each other? Seriously, like what married couple does not want to kill each other? That's just life, man. That's life.
If
But
there's guns in the house and they each have access to them, it could be dangerous.
that's true.
Yeah,
you
but there's so
really
many
have to
other ways.
trust. You really have to trust the person that's sleeping next to you if you go to sleep and you know that there's a 12 gauge in the house.
I'd be more scared about children finding guns. I've read stories about that before.
But
Or
yeah,
just messing around with it.
they're supposed to be locked up in a behind lock and key.
And that at the same
in
time,
a
if somebody
gun
broke in your
safe.
house, how are you going to get into
With
that
trigger
right away?
locks as well.
Yeah.
Well, actually, what you just said is wow, I'm slipping up here. There was an article published in a New York newspaper that showed a map with all these homeowners that owned guns. Did any of you guys hear about this?
I think so. I think I heard about that.
Steven, did you hear about that?
Yeah, I've heard about that. I know a little bit about that case.
I didn't read too much into it. All I know is that this newspaper or internet, whatever article site, posted a map with all the locations of all these gun owners. Like,
Yep.
I don't know why they did it, but I think that's pretty bad. I mean, now, like what you just said, somebody could break into my house because they know I have a gun and steal my gun.
Just spawned on that side.
Yeah.
It works the other way, too, because now they have a map of the residents that don't have guns.
Exactly.
Oh yes, that's very true. Now they know who's vulnerable.
Yeah. I'm not sure what states you guys are in, but I would caution you when you're talking in generalities about guns and things like that, because there's a lot of assumptions you're making. One of the best statements I heard earlier was Nicholas when he talked about, the danger, from criminal activity generally deals with pistols, not with rifles, and that was a factual statement. But I've heard a lot of you guys kind of rationalizing things, but not really bringing. I'm not sure what resources you're using to come up with some of the statements you're saying.
Yeah, some of the discussion is not based on fact. I've got a browser brought up with some of the topics that I've wanted to discuss today, but most of it is just based on everyone's
Personal opinions.
Yeah, personal opinion. It's just for discussion matters only, really, to get everybody's thoughts and opinions on these topics and see what everybody thinks about it.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not very familiar with any of the gun laws of even my state, like I said, so.
Well, we heard everybody else's opinions. Steven, do you have an opinion on, the bill that's going to pass that'll ban assault weapons? Do you have any opinion on the gun laws or anything like that?
Sure, yeah. I've got, in open honesty, I've recently rejoined the NRA because it's something I felt was important. I carry a concealed weapon as much as possible, and I'm one of the pro-gun people. If you're going to have two camps there, anti-gun, and how that breaks out. And I own an AR, and I shoot it routinely. So if you have questions about those things, I can answer those for you. But my opinion is that the Sandy Hook issue was a tragedy. Any number of these shootings are all tragedies, but focusing on the guns and trying to fix that, especially when it focuses like a laser on ARs, which are a very small segment of the weapons that are used in criminal activity, really doesn't address the issue. And it ignores the fact that the mental health issues are there. I don't know if you've ever heard the phrase gun-free zone. Most of these things happen in what's considered a gun-free zone, or a location where nobody can carry legally. And that's because, generally speaking, this is my opinion, these type of shooters are kind of cowards, and they want to roll up into a location that they're not going to encounter an officer or another civilian carrying a firearm. And generally speaking, at the first instance where they encounter one, that's when they decide to turn on themselves.
And I completely agree with everything Steven just said, because if they know for a fact no one here is going to have a gun, so no one can stop me. It's going to take this amount of time for a police officer to arrive or for a SWAT team to arrive, and I can kill 100 people in a half an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a special level of sickness to go in there and kill children, but the Aurora Theater shooting and the one that happened out in Oregon, those were where they've targeted areas where they knew people wouldn't be armed.
Yeah. With the schools I talked about in the last episode, is that not a lot of people realize that it's actually legal for the teachers in some states to carry concealed weapons, and
I see nothing wrong with that. And
Texas is one of them. They keep it on the down low though, because they don't want
the kids to find out,
or the kids, in certain communities, certain schools, to know that their school is one of those school districts that allow their teachers to carry a concealed firearm, and each teacher has to go through a specific training program and has to pass a psychological evaluation to get approved to carry the firearm. And so they want to make sure that they put the firearm in the hand of a person that A, wants to carry it, and B, qualified to carry it, and so they can protect the children. And I guarantee you, the next time someone thinks about going on a killing spree at a school, having that knowledge, they may think twice about it. Because like Steven said, the first time they encounter opposition, they turn the weapon on themselves. And,
why don't we just make it so that they all do that at home before they go out?
I'm
sorry, that was bad.
That would work for everybody, I think.
I'm just saying, I'd rather you shoot yourself in your living room, covered in your own tears, than walking into, the elementary school or the middle school where my kids go and shooting that up.
Yeah, one suicide could save the lives of many innocent innocent bystanders.
Did they ever figure out exactly what was wrong with his mental health?
Which one?
The shooting at Connecticut.
Adam Lanza?
Yeah.
Oh, Lanza? I have no idea.
Because I think they released
a lot of
speculation, and then
there was a lot of speculation about all manner of illnesses that he had, but I haven't heard anything official.
I know the guy from Virginia Tech shooter. I read some of his stories. I'm not sure if you're familiar with some of his stories he wrote and poems, and they were really messed up. They were really weird. It was kind of just, I guess, I don't know if he had a different childhood or not, but some of his stories were kind of disgusting. And he was a really bad writer, too.
What made me mad was, I don't remember where I read this, and no, I don't remember the exact quote, and I'm probably taking this highly out of context, but it was something about stationing armed patrols around schools.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess Obama wasn't in favor of this or something. I don't know exactly what. But it's like, so your daughter can get escorted around by 10 Secret Service agents that are armed, and she's better than my kid or my brother or anybody else.
Well, in all fairness, he is the president, so he's a pretty high-profile target.
I do understand that.
But to your point, so the NRA, so shortly after the Sandy Hook shooting came out, and one of their big recommendations was to increase the numbers of what they call an SRO, or a school resource officer, at schools around the nation. And that was not well received in the public. And ironically, one of Obama's executive orders that he passed was to increase the number of SROs in the school. Now, whether or not they're armed or not, there's some decision points there. But if you believe that, again, like we kind of talked about, we're a gun-free zone, if a person's going to go to a school because there's no guns there, even the idea that they might run into one or two armed officers may be enough to
deter them.
Exactly.
I know my high school had a school resource officer as well as my middle school. So my middle school and high school both had school resource officers, but and that's just because of the area that I live in. I mean, there was
it's very common for middle schools and high schools to have them around where I'm from. Also, it's the lower level schools like Sandy Hook that don't have that opportunity, because you're like, who in their right mind would do something like this? It's just causing everybody to rethink what it means to keep people safe.
Exactly, because if I think that the worst shooting I heard of before Sandy Hook, not saying any of them were bad, but was when the guy shot up the Amish school.
Yes.
Do you remember that? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody else, Mortimer, you're probably familiar with this, but a guy murdered a whole bunch of Amish school children, and that was probably the worst shooting I heard of before Sandy Hook, because that's terrible. Like I said, I'm not saying any of the other ones weren't terrible, but that's bad. Like, Sandy Hook was a complete shock to me. And in today's society, it's really hard to shock people in my generation because we're so desensitized by everything. But that was, like, honestly a shock. I can't imagine anybody that would actually walk into an elementary school and shoot, innocent children. That's just messed up.
Little kids.
Or anybody. Yeah.
They don't. I don't know if this is a good analogy or not, but like I don't like when people go hunting on like at a hunting lodge where there's a farm where they raise deer and they raise animals and they feed them and they're sort of tame and they don't run from you. They don't have a sporting chance. They've got a 12-foot fence where they can't get away. They take you there. They drive you right up to the feeding area where these animals.
It's like shooting fish in a barrel.
Around. Yeah, and so when you go and take a weapon to an elementary school to fire upon 6-year-old kids, it's kind of the same thing. Yeah. They don't have a sporting chance. They can't even run that fast. You go to a high school and you might have some big football player that's going to tackle your ass. At least there, those kind of those kids, they can fight back. They could attack you with a chair or a baseball bat or some type or their fist.
You would think so. You would think so, but one of the things that I remember about the Columbine shooting that really kind of struck me was the fact that the two shooters were kind of leisurely walking around and reloading, and for all effects
and nobody was doing anything.
Exactly. Right. I'm like, why didn't somebody jump up and stab him with a pencil, for God's sake, or do something?
Yeah.
I know. I'd like to say that I would totally do that, but obviously I wouldn't know until I'm in that exact situation. I'd like to think I would. You know what I mean? But I couldn't.
The only comparable situation I've ever had was with this one. It was at work. We're in these booths selling these tickets for an amusement park. And the guy next to me in the booth, it was a middle booth, so there was like 8 people in there. And the guy just all of a sudden had him in a seizure. And it's one of those moments where, like, before you'd say, like, if somebody had a seizure, I helped him. But I'm just sitting there, I didn't know what to do at first. I've never kind of been in those situations. And it's impossible to train somebody or teach somebody how to react in a situation where somebody brings a gun up there. Because your first instinct is to either run, hide, or protect yourself or somebody else that's with you. But like I said, there's just not a lot you can do if somebody has their goal to go to elementary school and shoot people. There's just no way to stop it. I think the gun regulations, I think they're putting those more in place to help the, I don't want to say day-to-day deaths, but like from people murdering like 1 or 2 people, I think maybe they could help that way. Or I think that's the reason. That's the government's reason for doing them. Because like I said,
but I'll say it time and time again. I will repeat myself time and time again. If a criminal wants a gun, they will get a gun. Taking guns from ordinary citizens is going to do nothing. It is going to do nothing. You may see a small decrease in guns maybe 20 years from now, but it's going to do nothing. All you're going to do is put more money in the hands of criminals so that they can import those banned assault rifles and everything else. You're going to have more gun violence because you can't get one, so you're going to shoot somebody to get it with whatever gun you have. All it's going to do is cause more problems. Like I said, this is all my personal opinion, but that's what I really feel is going to happen. I mean, I live in a neighborhood full of criminals. I'm in their mind.
Yeah, like I said, it also depends on where you live, too. Yeah. I guess, you know what I mean?
I live in a small country town in Texas, and there's gobs of deer hunters, and there's a couple of firing ranges within just miles of my house. Actually, there used to be one on the corner that was indoors, but I think that they got shut down. But yeah, there's tons of people here that are gun enthusiasts, and they would have an absolute fit if their guns were taken away.
Well, consider this: if the government is asking, I don't think the ban is going to go anyplace, but they're asking to restrict access to law-abiding citizens to these firearms, but they can't control our borders. And you being in Texas,
I like that.
You should be aware of that. So if they can't control the border, which guns will cross even when we're sending them south, then what benefit does it do to ban guns at the highest level?
Yeah, the border is a big issue here, and we need guns to protect our borders, you know, or at least we need more law enforcement or border patrol down there. And yeah, there's plenty of guns being transported across that border.
But see, that's what you got to think about, because that's what they don't say on the news is, oh, hey, we want to do this, but in all reality, this isn't going to help because this, and this still are.
It's all a
PR
thing, I think. It's trying to make them look better.
That's what I think it is.
Maybe if they just make guns harder to get for people who, you know, if like for Steven, he says he has an AR-15,
yep,
and he carries a concealed handgun on occasion or when he can, and maybe they need to make it more difficult for people who are intending on carrying one or owning one. I mean, if you meet all the requirements and you have a stable mentality, and you're totally fit to carry one and own one, then maybe that's okay. But just make it a little bit more difficult for people who are borderline.
Well, I know there was.
If they have, maybe they had an assault charge when they were 17, or maybe they had a domestic call, come to their domestic violence call 10 years ago, or
but see,
maybe they went to a psychiatrist one time for one issue that was court appointed. Maybe that person is borderline, or something, and maybe they shouldn't have a gun.
If I may, it's a slippery slope. For example, I think I heard you say you were a veteran when I was listening earlier.
Yes, I am. Okay,
so I'm a veteran also. So you can probably appreciate all the guys that have been in Iraq and Afghanistan for the last 10 years, that PTSD is a big issue coming back now.
Yes.
So what happens if the government starts classifying them as having a mental issue and denying them the right to own a firearm? I mean, these are people that have served our country, and mind you, some of them legitimately probably shouldn't because they have some pretty serious issues. But when you do blanket rulings, when you use terms like, I forget what you just said, but basically
like stable.
Yeah, something like that that's kind of vague and not really clearly defined. It does.
And you can fit anybody into that classification.
Yes.
You can fit anybody into that borderline. Like the reason why the Reddit co-founder killed himself, because he was caught in pretty much a loophole in the law. The computer laws that he was being charged with were so vague that they made his crime fit like a puzzle piece. He didn't actually
Right.
do anything wrong, but the law was so vague that they could twist it and make it look like he did.
Like he was a hacker or something, when actually all he did was expose stuff that was available to the public anyway.
Exactly. He committed no crime, and MIT dropped their lawsuit against him because he did commit no crime.
Yeah.
But the federal government stepped in, and that's where you had the issue. The law was so vague. Like, I read the actual bill itself. It was so vague, and it's so outdated. It's from 1986. But the law was so vague that me just logging onto the internet, opening my browser, I just committed a federal crime. Like, that's how vague it really is.
Yeah.
Let's also remember, at least when we're talking about guns, we really are talking about one of our rights. I mean, you can get into a deep debate on what that implies, but at the most basic level, it still is a right. There are other things that we regulate that really aren't rights, so it's, where do you draw that line?
Well, like more demand. All right, take for instance this conversation, okay? When you talk of guns, you're talking in terms of your Second Amendment right. So what if it was illegal for us to be even having this conversation right now because they took away our freedom of speech or something like that? Not saying that they ever would, but you get my point. It's still a right you have as an American that would be restricted. So if you take away guns, you're still taking away someone's right. If you take away their freedom of speech, you're taking away the right that we have to actually have this discussion.
I don't think they should take away all the guns. They shouldn't do a permanent ban. I like I said, I think I already mentioned this before. I think assault rifles, banning some assault rifles in certain, like I said, I don't feel there should be a reason to own an assault rifle, so I'm totally fine. So that's where I'm at. I think it's okay to ban assault rifles, but I don't think it's okay to ban all guns entirely.
But like I said, it's so much easier to conceal a handgun, walk into somewhere, and shoot somebody than it is with an assault rifle.
Yeah.
You can't tuck an AR-15 in your
But
pants.
if you
That's
have
not the way it works.
and you walk
But
into someone,
maybe-
you're not one to hide it
But
at
Tangi,
that point.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's no need to hide an AR-15. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I got it. What are you gonna do about it?
And, like,
You know?
yeah, for instance, if you have one, like, I don't think you're going to shoot somebody, but there's some crazy people that might have one that I maybe not trust in that situation. I don't know, I mean, I think it's mostly just how I've grown up or where I live and all that stuff.
All right, Steven,
Like,
you were
there's no-
saying something?
There's no true answer.
No, and I get what Tangi's saying. There may be cultural, depending on where we are in the country, there may be cultural values in place that doesn't make it a lot of sense for somebody to go, why does he own an AR? But, I would say, ask yourself, why would you be willing to ban item A, which statistically is a very low number of uses in criminal instances, versus the bigger picture with pistol. I mean, if you're going to get in this discussion about gun control, understand that on the side of the anti-gunners, ultimately the goal is to ban all guns because they believe that removing them will save lives. So this is a stepping stone when they're doing this. You look at what's happening in New York. They've taken steps already, and now they're incrementally reducing the rights of their citizens there.
Well, I mean, have you read the back of a Lay's potato chip package? It says you can't eat just one. They're not going to ban. The first step, and I agree with you. The first step is let's ban assault rifles. Then it's going to be let's ban clips for pistols over 5 bullets. Then it's going to be one bullet per gun. That's it. That's all you get. And then it's going to be you can have this nightstick baton thingy. That's what you can defend yourself with.
And then
We'll
it's
all
going
be
to
limited to mace.
You can't even. I can buy a
or
gun
something.
in my state, but I cannot buy pepper spray or mace. It is illegal for me to own pepper spray or mace, but I can go buy a pistol.
No kidding.
Tell me how that makes sense.
That doesn't make any sense. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, but all right. So I was out in Wyoming for a little while, and that is very, very different than Rhode Island because East Coast, whatever. And I gotta say, I was terrified the first day because every single person I saw had a gun. I walked into Walmart. Some guy's got 2 Desert Eagles on the under the arm holsters. But the next day, I went on Google and I started doing some research, and they have the lowest crime rate out of almost any state. And it's because if I cut this guy off, he's probably gonna shoot out my tires. If I rob this guy, he's probably gonna shoot me.
But their population there is also the lowest in the nation per capita.
Well, to help Nicholas's cause on that point, Florida was one of the leaders in making concealed carry widely available to their population. I think we'd agree they're fairly dense down there. If you look at the statistics, almost at the same time that they started broadly issuing concealed carry permits, the crime rate dropped. is it's that philosophy that a criminal doesn't want to encounter resistance. They want the easy pickings.
If I went, like in Wyoming, you can walk into Walmart, be like, I want to shoot up Walmart. I wouldn't even consider it. I'm gonna be like, probably 1 out of every 3 people in here have a gun, and they're gonna shoot me.
Depends on what Walmart.
If you go to shoot at Walmart, I don't think you expect to get out alive.
You go to our Walmart, there'll probably be 10
Oh,
people shooting back at you at our Walmart, I'm sure.
Well, in my state, you cannot buy guns at any major retailer except Dick's Sporting Goods. From what I was told, and this happened when I was younger, somebody had shot up a Walmart somewhere in the country, and then Rhode Island and a couple states in New England decided to no longer sell any weapons besides black powder rifles at Walmart. Because I remember they used to have a gun case and everything. There were little, cases, and they spun around with all the guns in it, but now they're only allowed to sell single shot, black powder, you got to pack it rifles. That's it.
Yeah, you can buy an AR-15 at our Walmart. They sell all types of hunting rifles and stuff there. I guess it just depends on where you're at as to what you can buy. Like I was saying earlier, it's legal to own a fully automatic weapon here. Or they don't say weapon. I'm a vet, so I say weapon. But it's legal to have a fully automatic assault rifle or whatever the politically correct term is for it here, if you have the certain permits for it. Not just anybody can have it. You have to apply for it, but you can own it. I even one time, me and my dad were sitting out on his front porch. Maybe about 7 or 8 years ago, and we heard what we believe was a 50 caliber machine gun going off. And I know what a 50 cal sounds like, and my dad, being a Vietnam vet, he was pretty certain that was too. We heard it off in the background. We looked at each other and we were like, "Is that what I think that is?" And he was like, "I think that's a 50 cal." I was like, "I'm 100% sure. I'm positive that's what that is," and I don't know where a civilian could get one of those, or why a civilian would even have one, but it would definitely.
Well, I mean, with enough money, you can buy anything.
What are the gun regulations and backgrounds they usually do to, like, say, own an assault rifle or a pistol? I'm not really familiar with it. Do they do background checks for, like, to own those type of guns?
In my state,
probably.
And I know it's different from state to state. What's the majority, or what's the?
It's different. It is honestly different in every state as far as I know. In my state, you go in, you submit your name, whatever town you're in, whatever town or city you're in, your information goes to the one person in the police department that reviews all the applications in that one specific town, and they either approve or deny you. That's it.
Oh, okay. Just based on what do they usually look at?
Everything. But see, you got to understand that somebody can't see what you did when you were under 18 years old, thanks to federal law, so you don't know what anybody did before they were 18. I mean, I was a kid once. I did get in trouble before I was 18. But, nothing, I didn't go out and, like, beat somebody with a baseball bat.
Yeah, there's different types of crimes.
If I went to apply, I have no doubt in my mind I would be approved, and I do plan on going to apply and purchasing an AR-15 or other weapon that is on that band before all this stuff happens, if it does happen. Because, like I said, when me and Mortarman were in the last podcast, we were talking about Sandy Hook, and, like Steven said, it's not banning one gun. That's the first step. They're going to ban all guns. And you got to understand that what you read in history books about World War II was wrong. They'll teach you that Austria was invaded by Germany, and that's not right. And before I go off on this, I just want everybody to know I'm a conspiracy theorist, so I'm going to start with that. Austria welcomed Germany in with open arms. They welcomed them in with open arms because they heard about how great life was in Germany. There was health care for all, food for everyone, jobs for everyone, all that. And you know what? The first step was give us all your guns because it'll make you safer. It'll make you safer. No one's going to shoot at you. Give us all your guns. That's how it started. The Second Amendment right was there to protect you as an individual person against a tyrannical government. That is your right.
So TNG, your question, in my state, I'm in North Carolina. If you're over the age of 21, actually it's 18 for a long arm, which is any rifle and shotgun. If you walked into a store, you would have to present a driver's license with your correct ID on, correct address on it, and they would fill out a form called 4473, which runs the National Criminal Background Check. Now, here's the trick about that. States have to give their information to the FBI for that to be valuable, and it's expensive for them to do it. And that's one of the things they're asking for in the ban. There are things that most pro-gun people would agree to, and background checks is probably one of them. I don't see any harm if I'm a responsible gun owner, which I think I am. If they want to run a background check on me, that's fine. But I don't want to get into that slippery slope about the subjective determination of whether or not I can own it. You know, if I'm a felon, a convicted felon, or something like that, obviously I've lost that right. But if it's, you know, speeding tickets or things like that, and even if you've been to a psychologist or something, that's not necessarily a disqualifier. But that is your right to walk in there, and provided if you've got the money, which is going to be quite a bit these days, and plop it down and walk out with a, you know, what I will refer to as a modern sporting rifle, not an assault rifle, because the assault rifle term is just getting beat up.
Yeah. It definitely implies that the weapon or the gun is not for sport when you use the assault rifle terminology.
Yeah.
It's like going into a sporting goods shop and asking for a sniper rifle when you actually need to ask for a target rifle. Because you know, you can buy, you know, what some would call a sniper rifle, but it needs to be referred to as a target rifle, I think, for consumers.
The best you're gonna get in England is probably deodorant and a lighter.
So are you in England?
Yeah.
So you guys are going through some resurgence right now with your citizens now wanting their gun rights back.
All right.
You know, I don't know if you other guys know it. You know, English citizens gave up their rights because they were told they'll make them safer, and now.
Thank you.
And, you know, right now England has, you know, they don't have the shootings like we do in Chicago and some of our larger cities, but they have very high crime rates as far as assaults and home invasions, that stuff, because the bad guys know, in all likelihood, the worst thing they're going to run into is probably a pocket knife.
Yeah.
Or a dog.
Probably the dog.
Dogs.
Probably the dog.
What is
that's an idealistic worldview too, that nobody's going to commit a crime.
What is the crime rate like in the UK?
Well, it depends where you live. You got really, really like bad parts, and I'm not gonna say anything.
I'll be right back,
You've
guys.
got like mainly bad parts, and then you've got like good parts. So in the good parts, it's really, really low, and in the bad parts, obviously, it's kind of high. Not always high, but it's normally like the council estates and stuff.
Is there a lot of violent crime there, or you know, or murder or anything like that?
It depends. Normally, it's just like someone being robbed, but you can occasionally get stabbed and stuff like that. But you never see any shootings.
I see.
What was that story? This is a different topic too, about the child. I saw a thing on YouTube before when like the reporter told the parents that the child had died. They found the child dead. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that story. It was in England. I never really heard from that.
I'm not familiar with that at all.
I've never heard of that either.
It was a huge worldwide story. I wish I remember the name. It was a little child. I think she was like 4 years old, kidnapped, and then I guess she died like 4 days. They found her dead 4 days later. I could probably look it up and find it, but
I'm not too sure. I've heard of something similar to that, but I don't.
How did the kid die?
I don't remember. Like I said, it was the reason I found it was because it was one of the most watched YouTube videos back with the old YouTube layout. So you see which ones were most watched. And it was this reporter, and the reporter went up to these parents, or I believe family members, might not be parents, went up to these family members and were like, hey, we just got a report that the child was found dead. What have you guys heard about that? And they had never heard anything about that until that reporter said it. So that's the only reason the story was brought up that I heard about it. But I have a few friends from England and stuff, and they all said that it was a big story there. And I had heard about it from like CNN or something too.
I've heard of one where this girl was kidnapped, and apparently she was in the next door neighbor's shed or something like that, and they didn't find her for 24 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. And like I think if I remember correctly, she didn't even try to run away or
Are
escape.
you talking about Elizabeth Smart?
Maybe that's her. She was living in some crazy man's shed for like most of her, like for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see how that's possible. If she wanted to get away, she could just bang her and you'd be able to hear her.
Elizabeth Smart was kidnapped on June 5th, 2002. She was 14 years old, and then she got found alive in somebody's shed.
How many years was it?
A lot.
It's like 20 years or something. 20 something.
This one, no, okay, Elizabeth Smart was only 9 months. She was found the next year, 18 miles from her house, in like this makeshift thing in this guy's backyard.
How in the hell did he keep her hostage?
She obviously wanted to stay there.
He abused her, like sexually abused her, didn't he? What a messed up person.
Tell me about it.
That makes me want to get a gun and go kill him. You know, I mean, not literally, you know, but that guy needs a old-fashioned ass whooping is what he needs.
Probably is taking one right now in prison.
Yeah.
So.
Literally.
Oh, they don't take kindly to pedophiles and child molesters in prison.
No, they don't. As far as Jeffrey Dahmer didn't last for very long.
He got murdered in prison, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like when you are a rapist or a child molester, you are
scum.
In prison, you are the absolute lowest of the low. You my shit in the toilet is worth more than your life.
Yeah.
Like that's really how it is.
Yeah, it's they have prison etiquette, believe it or not, and you know there are unwritten rules, you know, to that pertain to that particular prison, and then there are rules that pertain to every prison that you're expected to know, and if you don't know, you need to know them in a hurry, so that if you move from one prison to another, you know where you fit in their society, and if you don't have a place, you need to find a place. You know, and there is no place for child molesters and rapists.
I forget what state does it, but they have like medication castration.
Yes, I've heard of that.
I mean, all I know is that you take a pill and then your junk don't work no more.
Yeah,
I've heard about that.
That could be steroids if you take it for too long enough.
But I don't remember what state does it. I don't know if they have been doing it, but I know I heard about this medical castration where you take a pill and it just doesn't work anymore. And that's what they were doing to child molesters and people like that.
If you took erection out of the equation, that would certainly make you, you know, not very effective.
Yeah, no.
But that doesn't mean that you couldn't, like, hold down someone, you know, and abuse them physically in some other way.
Of course.
You know, but at least you wouldn't be able to,
have to chop the hands on them,
you know, rape them the most common way, anyway.
There is one thing I wanted to talk about, and I don't know how familiar you guys are with the Aaron Swartz case.
It rings a bell, but I'm not very familiar.
Steven, are you familiar with that?
No, I'm looking it up now.
It's the co-founder of Reddit who murdered himself over the federal investigation that we were talking about.
Right, I read about that. I did read the article. Go ahead.
Have any of you guys heard of the hacking group called Anonymous?
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
They hacked the U.S. Sentencing Commission's website today.
Did they?
Today.
Oh, they brought the whole site down, then put up their own website that had like a video about Anonymous and why they did it and everything like that. And I 100% agree with Anonymous. The hackers say they've infiltrated several government computer systems and copied top secret information that they now threaten to make public.
Well, it depends if it's something we should know and what they're hiding.
You never know what it could be. It could be anything. It could be nothing. It could be anything. My personal opinion is the government has more skeletons in their closet than every American put together. But that's just my opinion. I never take anything that I see on the news or anything like that at face value because it's only a part of a truth. That's just, like I said, that's just my opinion. I never feel like we get the real story. If you switch from news station to news station, they're saying two different things. So
yeah, that's
how do you ever know that what you're hearing is actually true? You're only hearing what you want to hear. But this goes back to the gun thing because he was facing like 35 years in prison over something that wasn't a crime.
if anyone is still watching the show, we had some technical difficulties, and the internet took a dump on us briefly, just enough to end the hangout. So I restarted it, and hopefully all the guys can join back. Someone has joined.
We here?
We're here. We're back. I'm
Awesome.
trying to hopefully get everybody back. We were in the middle of a really good topic. You had just started talking about that Schwartz guy.
Oh yeah, Schwartz. Yep.
Yeah. I'm hoping that Cameron and Tiny Toddler and Steven can join back.
Yeah, he just asked if you can invite him back.
I don't have him in my circles.
Cameron? You
no.
got him in here in the first place.
Oh, Cameron. Yeah, Cameron I have.
Yeah, he's the one that wants to come back in.
I don't have that Steven guy on in my circles. I'd like to
No,
have
he
him
had to
back in.
bail.
He had to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
He said he liked your channel though.
Cool. Yeah, I'd like to have him back on the show. Was he a friend of yours or someone that just found us on the Hangout?
Someone that just found us.
I think, yeah, I was thinking that that's what he said.
Yeah, he said he was trying to figure out how to use Google Plus and ended up somehow in our Hangout.
That's awesome. Well, see, that tells me right there that it's getting around a little bit. You joined in the same manner. You joined in the same manner last time, and now I hope to have you as a regular on the show and a longtime friend in the future.
You know what? I look forward to it too. I like this. This is fun.
Yeah, it is. Well, let's talk about that guy, the Schwartz guy, a little bit.
Aaron Schwartz, yeah. He was 26. He was the co-founder of the networking site called Reddit. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
All right. He was the co-owner of the store called Reddit, and he killed himself. I think this is about 2.5 weeks ago now, because he was facing 35 years in federal prison. For not committing a crime. He did not commit a crime, but because the internet laws were so broad, they managed to fit him like a puzzle piece in there. They twisted everything around until he managed to fit, and then they charged him, and they wouldn't give him a plea bargain, they wouldn't give him nothing. They were going to use him as a very, very clear example to the rest of the world about if you mess around on the internet, you will go to jail forever. All right, if you murder somebody in my state, first-degree murder, you will serve 11 years in prison. This man was going to do 35 years. There's just no comparison there.
That's a long time. And I read one article about it, and I was shocked at the punishment they were going to give him. And he basically went into their server room at the college and just hooked up a laptop to it, which is, I guess, a little bit shady, but the information that he was tapping into was
100% legal.
Available to the public.
Well, see, the issue is he did it at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, and they dropped the charges against him as soon as they heard that somebody had done this. They brought him to court, but as soon as they got the facts, they're like, okay, he did not do anything wrong. We're gonna back out. We apologize. You know what I mean? They even came out and said, I'm sorry, we were wrong. And then the feds came in, and that's when shit hit the fan. Cameron, you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, cool.
Okay, cool.
Where did you go for so long, Joe?
The internet took a dump on us.
Unlucky. Did it just completely just go off?
It did. I was sitting there waiting on it to come back, and it came back briefly, and then it dropped.
You like that, Mortimer?
Huh?
You like that?
What's that?
You don't see it?
Looks like a chicken or something to me. Or a banana.
It's Winnie the Pooh.
All right.
What is that?
It's Winnie the Pooh.
Oh.
It looked like a banana.
I got the Winnie the Pooh tattoo.
That was one of my favorite characters when I was growing up.
Winnie the Pooh's the best, man.
Alright. Oh, yeah. He had Tigger, and Tigger was his pal.
Yep.
Tigger was a donkey, right?
No, that's Eeyore.
Oh, Tigger was a tiger or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It's been so long.
You forgot Piglet, by the way.
Piglet. Yeah, Piglet.
Nicholas, you're gonna have to send me your channel if you've got one.
I do.
Uh,
And
tweet
probably
it
at the
to
end
me
of
if you can.
tonight, I'll have 3 of them or so. What is your tweet? What is your Twitter?
I'll leave it in the side chat of this thing.
So I also wanted to talk about North Korea and their nuclear testing.
Yes, please. I'm terrified.
That country is such a joke. I really, it's like they're throwing rocks at us.
Dude's
you
a
know?
friggin' whack job, man.
That Pyongyang guy.
Yeah, he's a friggin' whack job.
Why? What they said?
Yeah, they're.
But do you want know why I said I was scared? Do
Yeah,
you
go
really
ahead.
want me to explain why I said I was scared?
Go ahead.
It's because, all right, nobody in that country respects that guy. All right, nobody does, and we don't either. We laugh at him. We're like, dude, you're like what, 20-something years old? You can't run a country. And now he's
Yeah.
doing nuclear missile tests pointed at the United States. That dude's gonna do something crazy and stupid.
Their whole country is poverty-stricken, and their government controls everything. It's a communist country, and the government has complete control over their citizens.
I know, but the issue really is that he has to do something reckless and stupid to gain respect from his people. Showing I am the man, and I'm deathly afraid that he's going to launch some nuke at somebody, not necessarily us, but that man is
Yeah.
going to do something stupid to prove himself.
You probably do it like a smaller country or something.
Like China and countries like China and Japan and South Korea, they're well within their range. So those countries are a little bit worried, but last thing they want to do is mess with China.
China's like got what,
China will
1
whack
billion
them off
people?
Yeah, they will whack them off of the map.
All right, so Mortimer, let me ask you this question from a military perspective, okay? If we went to war with China, who would win?
It's a scary thought.
Yeah, but there's one question you have to ask before you can answer.
He's got better weapons and stuff.
No, it doesn't matter. Okay, I'm going to put it this way. If we invaded China, who would win?
China.
I'm scared to think. I don't know. China might kick our ass.
Do you know why?
Because they're like 1% of our...
Probably of just mere population and the size of their military.
That's what it is. It's like a 500-to-1 ratio.
Yeah.
That's seriously what it is.
It would all have to be done by the air.
Yes, exactly. See, this is why I like having conversations with you, because you think differently than anybody else. That's exactly what I say. Now, if they invaded us, who would win?
Us. Because they're trying they have to come over.
We all
don't they?
have guns. If they invaded us, I think that our citizens would actually come out of their homes and
Yeah,
go
but
to
what if
war.
they're not allowed to have assault weapons?
Yeah. Then
Come
we're back to
on.
the weapons discussion.
No,
Because
but
if they took away our right to bear arms, then we wouldn't have because at the blink of an eye, our military could increase its size tenfold.
just bring in civilians with weapons.
Just bring in civilians, just like in a civil war.
But do you know what the problem is now? If they invaded from the west, they would take over California. They would. That is just a statistic that has been proven. They would get into California. If somehow they managed to attack from the east, they would make it all the way into the middle of the country, because New England as a whole, we had 1 out of every 1,000 people own a gun.
Very few.
It's maybe 50 people per town or city in my state own a gun.
Whoa. I think
And we
more
have-
people own a gun than me.
We have dense populations. You're talking about, 10,000 people per square mile.
Wow, they shot that thing down so fast.
All the rednecks from Texas would hop in their trucks and drive to the East Coast.
Well, like when I was out in Wyoming, I went into a trailer, and literally, I swear to God, they were stockpiled for World War III. They had over 60 weapons. Like, if the zombie apocalypse happens, I'm going to Texas or Wyoming, because I know I'll be safe.
I've got nowhere to go. I'll be stuck.
Oh, you're at the worst of it, man. You're in Europe.
Yeah, you guys have to get out the slingshots or something. Over
Oh
there.
yeah.
It'll be pitchforks. It'll be pitchforks and stuff.
Bring out the potato guns, man.
Yeah.
Can you buy potato guns in England?
Yeah.
You know what a potato gun is?
Yeah, a spud gun. Yeah.
Love spud
Yeah.
guns.
Yeah, we call them spuds.
Yeah.
Guns here too.
I've not seen one of them in ages though.
I
As you
see
said
them at
though
like
before, it is
Spencer's.
possible to get a weapon. I know you could be 14 and get a gun. It's that easy to get a gun. You could get them in England as well. It just.
All right, let's
you
talk
can't
about
get 'em in
Tampon Girl.
Okay. There's a girl. Her name is Giovanna
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Cloman,
Wow.
and a couple of days ago, she posted up a video on YouTube of her removing a used or currently used bloody tampon from herself, and she
I'm
dangled it
taking
up
my
in the
headphones
air.
out.
She dangled it up in the air, and she was showing it on the camera. And then she got a glass of water, and she showed that to the camera, and she set it on the counter. She was in her bathroom, and it showed her like pulling down her pants, but she had a long shirt on. You know, she crouched down so you couldn't see. And then she put her hand down there, you know, and everything. And a few seconds later, she brings it up to the camera, you know. So she procrastinates in the video for like 2 or 3 minutes. I think it's actually like about 3.5 minutes into the video. She finally puts it in her mouth. And
Oh God!
after several attempts, she finally does leave it in her mouth for like quite a while, and it shows her like sucking on it. And then she'll remove it, and then regain her composure, and then do it again. And you can tell that that she's grossed out by it. I have no idea why she did it, or why she would even want to do something like that. I mean, I've seen people do the cinnamon challenge and a lot of things like that are gross.
But that's harmless.
challenging.
That's
But
harmless.
This is just sickening, and I have to admit it was a little difficult for me to watch it.
It is
She's
disgusting, isn't it?
She's not a bad-looking girl. She's actually kind of cute. She's not a bad-looking girl or anything. But even if she had been really hot, I think it would have still
Looks
been
disgusting
to
still.
watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't have taken anything away from it still being disgusting.
The thing
But
is,
anyway,
she's done it to be
the video went viral. I don't know how many views it got. I don't think you can find the actual video of it now.
I have the link to it if anybody wants it.
Yeah, I didn't. I did find the actual video, but not from her channel or from her. It was re-uploaded by someone else. It's like a 5-minute video or something. She plays music with her cell phone during it.
Disgusting.
But yeah, it was totally disgusting. And now there's a lot of reaction videos about
there's
it. Like,
tons.
Where people film themselves watching it and getting their facial reactions. Totally sick. I don't know if she did it to get the views or she did it to rebel against her parents. Or
Well, she's
what
on
her,
Tosh.0 now. She's going on Tosh.0.
Oh man, he's gonna do a webcam redemption with her.
Yep. Yep.
Oh man, I can't wait to see that episode.
Cameron, have you seen the video?
Yeah, I've seen that. It's disgusting.
All right, I put it in the thing. I'm gonna
Yeah,
put it in the
it's like
comments too for anybody that's listening if they want to watch it.
Oh man.
She done it for fame as well. She posted on her Facebook saying something like, "Oh, I think I'm a celebrity now," or something like that.
Yeah.
She definitely got noticed. I don't know how long it's going to last, but she
Well, not in a
definitely
good
got
way.
noticed.
It's in a negative way, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, just think about what her friends and stuff are going to think. I mean,
They'll probably like follow her and go, "Oh, I'm gonna do that as well."
she's got a moniker, a permanent moniker now, Tampon Girl. Pretty disgusting.
Yeah. You wouldn't think of anyone to actually do that, would you?
No, I've never in my wildest dreams ever envisioned anything like that. I'm like, oh yeah, it'd be cool if some chick put a tampon in her mouth. I never even thought about it. I don't know.
Yeah, I've never had that thought.
Yeah, I mean, how in the world does she think of it? I don't know.
She thinks she's famous and that's all that matters, but that's kind of
Yeah.
gross, man. That's grotty.
That's
I don't
desperate.
see.
I want to read I want to read the comments that my girlfriend sent me after she watched the video, and she said, when you go, it is fake. Blood is not that red and bright, no matter where it comes from. It's just a fat chick who wants attention.
It could have been something, you know, it might have been fake.
She said she should have used the scented tampons. It would have smelled better. And then she said she puts on some stripper music. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, I watched probably the first 3 seconds of the video where she's like dangling the tampon in front of the mirror, and that was it for me. I was done. I didn't watch anymore. I was like, I'm done already. Just you describing it, I'm sitting over here gagging. I took my headphones out for most of it. I couldn't handle it. Dude, I ain't watching that video.
There's been some stuff, you know, that on the internet that I have to admit is very difficult to watch. Have you ever heard of Two Girls, One Cup?
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen that. That doesn't make me queasy though. That's like whatever.
I couldn't watch it. I tried when I heard about it. I attempted to watch it. I couldn't watch it.
Joe, how do you feel about putting the video on the live stream? I can put it on and hit screen share, and everybody can watch it. How do you feel about that?
Do it. Why not? Well, is it
copyrighted?
It might be copyrighted. You can't do it. Never mind. Yeah, it'll be copyrighted. Now the link, we can share the link. Because it's her video, it's protected by copyright law. Yeah, can't do that. We can put the link though.
Well, then I'm gonna watch it and everybody can view my reaction. Oh God! All right, I'm doing it. I'm hitting continue, and it's starting. Oh God, she's holding it up again. Oh, she puts it on her dresser or whatever, and it's all like bleeding.
Wow.
If I puke, guys, I'm sorry. Can't handle this. Oh my God. Are you sure that's fake?
Yeah, because if you cut yourself, your blood is a lot darker than that, and it would be dried up as well, like semi-dry, wouldn't it?
I don't know. I don't shove cotton in my.
No, I mean like if like blood would be dry and it go darker, wouldn't it?
Is she tweeting, "I'm eating a tampon"? I'm terrified right now.
Soon you'll see some. Oh, someone's just joined, I think.
Invited Mitchell back in here. See if he wanted to join.
All right.
Also invited.
You'll see a video soon. Someone sucking on a condom.
Invited Tangy Toddler back. I don't know if Tangy will be able to join back or not.
He said he had to go.
Oh, okay. I hated that the hangout ended so abruptly because we had a big group in here and we had some really good discussions going on, and I hate that there would be two versions of the hangout, you know, on my channel. I'll
just combine them. Oh my God, she's putting it near her mouth. Oh no, please do not do that. Oh, she's smelling it.
Man.
Oh my God. Oh no, do not put no. Oh my God. Oh no.
You can see that she's having trouble with it too. Like, you can see that she's obviously distraught about it, but she does it anyway.
Oh.
I couldn't watch it all. I had to take it off. I couldn't watch. It was going through me so much.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it does kind of give me the chills a little bit.
It's literally right now bringing tears to my eyes. Oh my God. Okay. No. Oh my God. Whoever's watching, do not watch that video. Do not watch the video. That was, dude, that's gross. 2 Girls, 1 Cup is so much less gross than that. Oh.
Is there some sort of attraction in some kind of porn genre for that? What do they call it? Scat or whatever.
Dude, if anybody gets off from watching some chick eat a tampon, they should be put to death immediately. All right, there's my
Certainly
opinion
didn't
for
find
you.
it
You trouble
attractive.
up, weren't you, before you even got your fucking, you know what I mean?
That's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Let's segue back into North Korea. It says in this article, this week, new in-union sanctions punishing the North's successful December rocket launch have elicited a furious response from Pyongyang. Strong hints that a third nuclear test is coming, along with a bigger and better long-range missiles, all-out action against its sworn enemy, the United States, and on Friday, a threat of strong physical countermeasures against South Korea if Seoul participates in the sanctions. First of all, why do they consider us an enemy in the first place? I really don't get it. Because we don't have the same beliefs or the same type of
That's
government
pretty much what it is. It's pretty much what it is.
We've never really picked on them. You know, the UN is a group of governments, you know, that kind of come together and collaborate common beliefs. And you know, if anything, we're their enemy because we're part of the UN and they're not. You know, I guess. But and we have soldiers, you know, based in South Korea with about 30,000 troops there that are stationed there on a regular basis. But I don't get why the North Korea hates everyone so much. It says sanctions mean war, said a statement carried by North Korea's official Korean Central News Agency. A U.S. research institute said Friday that recent satellite photos of the site where nuclear tests were conducted in 2006 and 2009 show North Korea could be almost ready to carry out its threat. In the face of international condemnation, North Korea can usually be counted on for such flights of rhetorical pick. In recent years, it threatened to turn South Korea into a sea of fire and to wage a sacred war against its enemies.
So what are they going to do? A nuclear war?
They've been wanting to build nuclear weapons for a long time, but the truth of the matter is, they don't have the they can produce a nuclear warhead, but they can't make it small enough to fit on a missile to travel very far. I think their last test dove straight into the Yellow Ocean or whatever they call it over there. Didn't even make it very far, and then they blew it off and said, "Oh no, we weren't testing a nuclear warhead. We were trying to get a satellite up into space."
Now I just got stabbed.
Which is a total lie. I mean, they just haven't been very successful. They don't. Plus, they have limited resources as to where they can buy this stuff because so many countries won't trade with them.
Weapons grade plutonium isn't exactly the easiest thing to get your hands on.
Yeah, you can't go down to the local store or pick that up online somewhere. I mean, they have to have ties with a country that has that technology so they can trade with them, and nobody will trade with them. And you know, like China, the one thing that keeps us on good terms with China is that we're a good source of income for them, and we buy a lot of their products. You know, they ship their products over here and stuff like that. I mean, we share. We offer each country offers the other one a lot of financial support, and it's good that they're on our side. I mean, I don't think we're exactly best of friends with China, but it's a good thing that we're not at war with them. Like you were saying earlier, heaven help us if we ever have to go to war with China, because they probably are the largest, the biggest superpower on the planet.
Oh yeah.
Have China even got modern weapons?
You just get
what, Nicholas?
Say, Cameron?
I was asking, like, do China even have like a good military, or is it just a lot of
they're highly trained
soldiers?
They're highly trained. I think it's a requirement for every man in China to be a member of the military at some point in
you're
life.
also talking about like cities in China. You're not talking about all the villagers out in the fields. They're not required to do anything. But you got to understand, if we went into China, you have all these villagers. It doesn't matter if you have a 30-man platoon or a unit or whatever, and you walk into a village that has 600 people with rocks and rakes. You're eventually going to run out of bullets, guy.
You could, unless you have air support to drop in crates of ammunition.
And that's really, and going back to your point, that's the only way to win a war against China is air. And, you know, drones, airdrops, blanket bombings.
What Black Ops 2 done. That's exactly what Black Ops 2 done with like drones war and stuff. If you played the campaign.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're using drones. Police departments are now using drones. There was one guy in Texas that got found in the middle of a cornfield by a drone that was flying overhead. Again, that's kind of a controversial issue that I'm not particularly fond of. Drones flying over the United States. I'm not particularly in favor of that.
Well, now you can pick up a radio-controlled toy with a HD camera on it. Those are available to the public now as a.
But we're not talking about one that can fly 10,000 feet in the air for you know, 150 hours at a time, that can zoom down and count the freckles on your face.
That's true. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're talking about one that maybe flies 100 feet in the air, can take some crappy pictures.
And they've got drones with weapons mounted to them too.
That's what I'm saying. I can't kill somebody with my RC plane.
Not unless you flew it into their head.
Yes, even then it's just going to hurt a bit.
Yeah.
But I don't feel comfortable knowing that if I walk outside, they can literally count the hairs on the back of my head. That's not a cool feeling.
Yeah.
Then you start to get into the I live in fear of my government shit, and then we just end up like China anyway. I'm scared of my government. If I say anything, they're going to kill me.
Yeah, with the satellites and everything, they have a lot of power. We never know who's watching us.
And that's
what
scary.
Are they called? The eyes in the sky, or Big Brother.
It's very scary.
Yeah. It's borderline invasion of privacy.
At least if you're going to do something, don't keep it a secret, as you were saying before, about keeping secrets and trusting them and stuff.
Yeah, I understand that there's certain things that we shouldn't know for our own benefit and our own protection. Obviously, if they just say, oh yeah, Area 51's real, and we make weapons that we're eventually going to use against other countries at some point if they declare war on us, I don't think everybody needs to know that.
Let's talk about Area 51, shall we?
If you want to.
Does that fit into your conspiracy?
I don't believe in aliens, so I mean, not really.
Well, I mean, as far as Area 51, though, we know that it exists. We know it's there. Although the government doesn't acknowledge its existence, we know it's there.
It has world records.
Imagery. We have satellite imagery of it. You know, there is. I think there's video of it. But now, see, what they did was, I don't know how many years ago, but they increased their. They stretched out their borders or their fences or whatever, so that now, if you wanted to go to Area 51 and you wanted to go down that main road that goes into Area 51, you'll be stopped by the guards, and there's a sign there that basically says you can't enter
and if you go past
government property. Yeah, you could be shot, you could be fined, you could be jailed. So even to get to the top of that little mountain that is the highest peak and the nearest point to Area 51, even if you got there, from what I understand, you're still something like 20 miles away from the confines of Area 51. But with high-powered cameras and lenses, you can get up there and you can see it. But you can't really get close. They made it to where you can't get close enough to it anymore. They used to. You could get closer to it. So the border of it is so far out now that they made it virtually impossible. Plus, you're talking about some of the roughest terrain on the planet. There's no water. There's a guy actually that lives out in that area that does tour guides, and he says on his website. Yeah, we're back.
Oh, I will in 1 minute. Oh, no, I sent you the video, too, didn't I?
Alright, yeah, I see.
What video?
No, you cut off. You froze there. You left off with website, and that was the last thing I heard.
There's a guy that lives out in that area near Area 51 that does these tour guides. And he takes people to see Area 51, to the closest point that you can possibly get to. And he tells you on the website, when you're applying to go, that you must be in top physical condition. You must be able to carry enough water and supplies for yourself, and he can't be responsible, for you. And there's all kinds of waivers and stuff you have to sign. And he takes people on these hikes or whatever, and I think it's like a 2-day deal where you have to camp out up there and everything. And he talks about how rough the terrain is, and there's no water. There's no access to water there, so the only water you'll have is what you can carry. And then they eventually get to the top of this peak or mountain overlooking Area 51, but like I said before, it's like really far away for you to see it. Let me Google area.
All you have to do is go to Google Maps and type in Groom Lake, and it's the only search result you'll get. If you go to the maps part, it'll show you Groom Lake. It'll show you the world's longest runway. Show you the Papoose Mountain.
So you go on the Google Maps, yeah, and type in Groom Lake.
Groom Lake, Groom.
Groom Lake.
And you're going to see what looks like a giant sheet of ice. It doesn't even look like a lake. It looks like a giant sheet of ice.
Yeah, I see that.
That is Area 51, and the long runway that goes across the lake is the world's longest runway.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So this place doesn't exist. There's absolutely nothing but desert out there. That's what they said for years. Yeah, I'm Google mapping Area 51. You can clearly see buildings.
It's in Nevada, USA, is it?
Yep.
What the fuck?
I can see vehicles. I can zoom down to the point where I'm seeing vehicles.
It looks like an X, doesn't it?
If you zoom out very far, yes, it kind of does.
Here's I found the guy that does the Area 51 guide service. It says, if you followed Area 51 in the 1990s, you may remember me. I'm Glenn Campbell, codename Psycho Spy, the original resident researcher in Rachel, Nevada. I am the author of the Area 51 Viewer's Guide and the Desert Rat newsletter. I was featured in the New York Times on a 2-hour Larry King special and in other countless TV shows, articles, and news reports. Now I'm back. I'm not longer actively researching Area 51, but I've become more interested in the slice of history I participated in. If you too are amused in the good old days of Area 51, I'd be happy to lead you on a mini adventure to the area to show you the base and talk about the local lore for $250 plus expenses. I'll escort you or your group around the border of the secret base in a tour we will design together. Pretty interesting.
Alright, yeah, you can see vehicles.
That's what I'm saying. So it doesn't exist, yet there's people there.
Yeah, I can see like this white truck on the run, like next to the runway.
Google Maps, Groom
He's
Lake.
swimming. He's swimming. I can see him. He's behind you, Mortimer.
Oh. I've got a troll. He's trolling me.
Yeah. A live troll.
Oh my god, there's like a
Should have
bus.
done that on the other podcast. Probably had a lot of people watching that one.
See, you're lagging a bit, Mortimer. You really got to call whoever you have for internet.
Yeah, I after raising my internet up to make it for a better connection, it didn't really work all that good, so I had them lower it back down to the normal speed.
Who do you get your internet through?
Some rinky-dink little cowpunk internet provider, East Texas Cable, and I think that they get their internet from Time Warner.
Oh, all right, yeah.
They're like a go-between or a third party.
Yeah, this is the world's longest runway. That's scary.
I don't get why there's like 50 million vehicles next to these buildings. There's literally a car park. I don't get why. Like, where would it all be
How much
studied
can
and
we
stuff?
zoom in?
There's planes, okay? I see planes clearly from the sky.
Whereabouts on the runway?
If you look 2 inches down from the lake, you'll see the 4 white buildings up at the top. You'll see planes lined right next to it.
2 inches up from the lake, did you say?
Yeah, are you looking at... Look at the Google chat window. And you can see right here where I'm at.
Oh shit, yeah.
And I'll zoom out for you. So here's the lake, here are the planes.
Yeah, I was looking at that before, I didn't even notice that was planes. What the fuck?
Well, it's a pretty big place, isn't it?
The place is huge.
Not really hidden it very well, have they?
Yeah, but you gotta understand, this, what you're seeing, is not Area 51.
What is it then?
That's just base camp. Area 51 is actually inside of this mountain you see, Mount Wandle, and it's under the lake.
I see, that's why you can't see any like big buildings and stuff.
Everything is underground and built into this mountain to the northeast of the lake.
Another thing you have to remember too, Cameron, is that this is a no-fly zone, so it is illegal for any aircraft, any civilian aircraft, to fly over this area. So
now tell me how Google got pictures of it.
A satellite, isn't it?
And we don't know that it's real
Is it
time.
illegal to be looking at this then, I'm guessing?
We don't know that it's real time or anything. We only trust that this is what it is. It may not even be what we think it is at all. But I assume that it is real. But
no freaking way. No way. Do you guys know what Street View is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Street Viewing right now. Like, what the hell?
What the fuck?
Street viewing Area 51.
How do you street view it? How did you get in that close?
I'm not even sure. Okay, so you see the Street View guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you click him and you drag him out, and it shows you blue dots that you can look at.
So how the hell is the Google like cab even got there?
That's what I'm wondering.
It's been shot from miles away. That's why.
Like, you can just go right here.
Where's the street view guy?
If you're looking at my chat window, I'll walk you through it, Mortimer.
Okay.
You see this little yellow guy right here?
Where the zoom in and out is?
Yeah, you're gonna drag him on, and you see these blue dots. That's where you can go in Street View.
Okay.
What the fuck? You can tell that they've been shot from like literally miles away, cause they're not literally at that point.
Yeah, but that's like a lawsuit right there. I did not know you could Street View at Area 51. The pictures are from 2007, so... But still.
Shows satellites and everything. Let's see if we can get closer to the runway. Oh god. Go up here. It's not really well hidden, is it? It's got like... They should at least be using like a brick that's blended like from the mountain itself, so it's more camouflaged. They're just using normal cabins and stuff.
It's crazy though, right?
Yeah.
That's insane.
And we'll never know exactly what goes on out
You
there.
get a $5,000 fine and 1 year in prison.
Some crazy shit, man.
I wonder, I mean, you probably couldn't make it out there, but I wonder, you know, like if you were in like a ghillie suit, you know, or something, and you literally just crawled around out there, if you could make it into their borders.
Come on, you of all people should know better than that. Motion sensors,
Yeah,
everything else.
not with the technology that they've got up in those mountains.
Are you kidding me? They probably got such high sensitive seismic meters that they can tell when you take a footstep.
They've probably got infrared cameras that would pick up your body heat, your
You need cold-blooded pro.
Your friend
Yeah.
behind you again.
Pro. Yeah. I knew he was sitting there.
What the heck is he doing? Why aren't you talking?
Well, I've got my headset on because of mic issues and stuff like that. I could take the headset out.
That's fine. Don't worry about it.
We've been trying to get him in the Google Hangout on his computer, and it's failed every time we've tried it. But hopefully, when I get my new camera and microphone, maybe we could do like a dual cam thing, where I can set the camera up, and have us both in the camera like we're doing now. It'd be much more clear.
I mean, most of the new webcams are wide-angle lenses, so they'll see a lot more.
Well, I chose not to get a wide angle because the wide angle was a little bit more expensive and didn't have all of the features that this particular webcam has. This one has got all the bells and whistles of all the latest webcams can have, except for the wide angle. And we looked at two images set side by side, comparing wide angle versus standard or whatever. And the wide angle really wasn't that impressive. It showed like a little bit more of the room that was behind the person in the camera, but the size or the dimensions of the camera was the same. I was thinking that it was going to be like a wide screen picture, or something, but it's not the case at all. It actually just has a little bit more visibility behind the person that's in the camera. The dimensions of the lens or the webcam are the same. So I chose to get that one.
Okay, I have 42 people following me.
You have 42 people following you now?
Yeah.
And that you had just a handful the other day, didn't you?
No, I take that back. I'm following 42 people, but I have 8 followers. I only had 1 the other day.
Okay, so you've gained a few.
I thought you just gained like 1 million.
I've gained maybe a couple since our podcast today. I'm hoping what'll eventually will happen is if I could just get like several hundred followers on Twitter, and if I can get several hundred people in my Google circle, then when I do the podcast, I can share it on Google Plus, and that will increase our audience. And we'll also have more people maybe finding the podcast at random, like a gentleman did earlier. Because I really would like to get our audience wider, and we'll just keep on coming up with really cool topics to discuss.
Wider.
And get a much wider audience. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Now let me ask Cameron. Hey Cameron, do you have a webcam?
Wider.
I don't have a webcam. I have iPhone.
You have
So
what?
I can go on like Google Hangout on my iPhone, but it's pretty shit. Like as the mic and shit.
You gotta
It could be
you
lagging.
gotta get yourself a webcam, man. You're a pretty cool guy, so.
Yeah, Cameron, you get a webcam for like $40 or $50.
Where
Well,
from?
in the UK though, that may be like 40 pounds.
If it's $40 near you, it'd be like £25 or £20.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know where you can pick them up from. You can just go to like the big computer shops like PC World and Currys and stuff like that. I don't know if you have them in America.
Do you
I'm
have a
not sure.
Best Buy?
No.
Have you ever heard of Best Buy?
No.
Oh.
Wow. That's so strange. That as big as Best Buy is here, to think that someone hasn't heard of it.
I work
guess-
there, and we have stores in Japan, China, the UK. I mean, we got stores everywhere.
Might be in London then.
Do you have a McDonald's, a Burger King, or a Wendy's?
Don't have a Wendy's.
But do you have a McDonald's and Burger King?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Wendy's?
No.
Mortimer, you've eaten at Wendy's, right?
Oh yes, yeah.
Always fresh, never frozen. How How about what's the biggest? Do you have Walmarts? You don't have Walmarts, right?
No, we have Tesco's, Asda, and what's the other one called? Tesco, Asda, and oh, fuck, I forgot the other one. What it's called?
There. Okay.
Do you know who
yeah,
Emma Watson is?
Emma
Watson? Yeah.
She went to college in my state.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
She's pretty hot.
Yes, she is.
Yes, she is. Isn't that the girl out of Harry Potter or something?
Yeah. She was in Harry Potter. Yeah, she went to Brown University, in my state, and I never thought Brown University was like a huge college, but when international people start going, I guess it's kind of cool. Like, do you guys know who James Franco is?
I've heard of him, yeah.
James Franco's the best. He went to RISD. It's called RISD. It's the Rhode Island School of Design, and it's one of the biggest design schools in the country. And he went there a couple summers ago. We have famous people coming and going all the time.
Brown University is one of the most expensive universities there is. Very, very expensive there.
Yep.
Well, I don't like that color anyways. I don't want to go there.
Yeah, I don't like that color anyway. Is that all people from Texas that don't like that color, or is it just you?
He says, is it all people from Texas who don't like that color, or is it just you?
Well, I am brown, brother. I'm just saying I just don't like the color.
We have a lot of people who wear camouflage here.
Yeah, I want to go to Camo College.
Camo College. Go to RISD. Design your own.
Classes are outside.
All right, what else was topic of discussion for today?
Well, we covered nuclear weapons in Korea, assault rifle ban, video game violence, and tampon girl. Let's see what's on the news. Yahoo News. See if there's anything interesting to mention.
Nicholas, what do you actually do like conspiracies? Yeah.
I rant about it on Google Plus. Yes.
All right. What do you actually do it about? Just like, do you do anything like yeah, what do you do on it?
I just rant about whatever happened in the news that I feel we were lied to about.
Oh, I see. If you post them on YouTube, I think you get like a couple hundred views, 100,000 views even, sorry.
Oh yeah, I mean anything conspiracy-wise, people eat it up.
Yeah. But people take it for granted, like, if they hear something like, oh, that actually is going to happen, because someone said it on YouTube. It's like all them ones about the, there was one on YouTube about the Illuminati or something like that, and apparently we're all going to die in 2012. If that didn't happen, we're all going to get killed by the government, blah, blah, blah.
I don't deal with that Illuminati stuff because that's just so
Bullshit.
friggin' stupid.
Yeah, I think it's all bullshit myself.
Huh?
Hear so many people speak
Yeah, I
about
want
it,
it
like,
back on.
all the time. You just hear people waffling on, and you're like, it's not even true. Someone's on YouTube actually said it, and you're believing it.
Well, see, one of the things is everything in the world is a matter of perception. It's how you personally believe it and take it, no matter what it is. Everything is a matter of perception. Like last podcast with Mortimer, we talked about Sandy Hook. I think there's a lot of things. I mean, are you familiar with Sandy Hook? Did you hear about it?
I've heard a bit about it, but I've not heard a lot about it, no. I don't really listen to the news that much and stuff like that.
There was a lot of sketchy things surrounding it. None of the news outlets still to this day have corroborated each other's stories. Every channel you listen to still says different stuff. There's been no concrete facts. There's been nothing. And I use September 11th as an example because literally within the minute that the first plane hit the tower, believe it or not, we pretty much knew everything there was to know about it. We know who did it and everything else. I mean, we did. We knew who did it. But we can't figure out some little kid, some like 20-year-old kid who did a whole bunch of shit. Like we took his hard drives, we took everything else. I just don't understand what the issue is.
I think maybe that the government, when something like that happens, the government can or cannot put all of their resources onto something. They probably had all of their resources on the whole 9/11 situation, whereas they may not have put all their resources on Sandy Hook.
Yeah.
And I don't disagree. I just, I think we knew about 9/11 ahead of time. I think we just kind of didn't believe it or didn't think it was credible.
Yeah. According to Loose Change, we knew about it.
I think loose change is half fact and half guessing.
I like all the how in that video how they use you know, they bring up all the different scenarios or whatever, and they seem to have something to back up every particular one. When you're watching the video, it's very believable, but I guess if you watched a different video or something that from a different view or angle, that could be believable as well. So it's I don't know. When I watched Loose Change for the first time, I was totally a believer after I watched it.
So you believe September 11th was a conspiracy?
I don't know. I think it's highly unlikely that it was a conspiracy. I think that it's a little silly to... I'm a realist, and I just think that the chances of all that happening the way that Loose Change said are slim. However, when I watched it, you know, it was hard for me to disagree with it the way that they presented it. It was presented very well. It made a lot of really good points.
You of all people should know that a plane crashing into a field would leave a gouge much bigger than 8 feet deep and 25 feet long.
Yeah, definitely. Things like that I find hard to believe.
And the Pentagon.
When the plane crashed into the Pentagon, I've heard it explained from both ends of the spectrum, and they made some. You know, when the government explained it, or when they had their professionals explain it, it made sense to me then. But then when Loose Change explained it, it made sense to me then also. But me personally, without ever hearing any of that at all, if somebody just said, "Okay, a plane just crashed into the side of the Pentagon, and this is a photo of it," I'd be like, hell no, it's just a big-ass round hole. There's no sign that the wings went through. There's no, you know, the engines, you know, these big multiple-ton weighing engines, you know, that it would have went through there. The hole just looked too small. It looked like it would have been a whole lot more damage. And why did their cameras not pick up more clear video? Why did they just release like this blur?
They released 5 seconds, which was five frames, and in those frames, if you saw a 125-foot jetliner, even in 5 frames, you would have seen a part of that plane.
Yeah, I would think so.
Does that look like a Tomahawk cruise missile hole to you?
It looks more like a missile hole than a plane hole.
That's what I'm saying, man. They're telling me that the only debris they found at the Pentagon was big enough to fit in your hand. That's scientifically impossible. Those engines do not melt. From the jet fuel, for one, explodes and combusts immediately. It all burns off in one giant fireball. It doesn't keep burning like gasoline does.
Yeah.
So if an engine melts, if one of those engines from the manufacturer says they melt at 3,500 degrees Fahrenheit and jet fuel only burns at 2,800 degrees Fahrenheit, that doesn't really add up that it would melt an engine.
Right. Then you would think there would definitely be a big chunk of a jet engine still left in there somewhere.
And then Pennsylvania, really, a 125-foot plane disappeared with no pieces into a 8-foot by 25-foot hole? I don't think so.
They didn't even find a body or any remnants of a body, did they?
No. But let me ask you this. How did they find the passport from one of the hijackers that crashed into one of the World Trade buildings, but they can't identify any bodies? So a piece of paper
Yeah, I find it hard to believe that they couldn't find any bodies.
A piece of paper managed to escape jet fuel, burning paper, and everything else managed to fall to the street, and the government found it, but they couldn't identify bodies, they couldn't do anything else. I find that extremely hard to believe. Oh, and they found no black boxes either. So you're telling me a passport made it through fire, but the indestructible black box on airplanes didn't? That's a crux.
Did you hear about the conspiracy about there was an airport somewhere where people were seen loading off of a plane and onto another plane or something like that?
No, there was reports that United 93 had landed at an airport and all the passengers were shuttled into a NASA hangar, so that was a government hangar. Okay? And then the plane took off again.
And then I guess it crashed with no people in it.
I apparently. I still see no evidence of a plane crashing in a field in Pennsylvania. I still see no evidence of a crash into the Pentagon. It's not scientifically possible.
Yeah, and they've showed pictures of other planes that crashed in similar fields, and it's destruction. I mean, it's massive. There's big burned areas of grass. But
you also have to understand that usually a good chunk of the plane will stay intact. Even in a crash landing, a good chunk of that plane still stays intact.
Like the freaking tail, or something, will be like a quarter mile away from the crash site,
Exactly, but they found nothing. Nothing.
Yeah.
And please tell me, okay, they said that the cause of the towers falling down was because the jet fuel and all the heat had melted the support columns. That's not possible. That is impossible. There was a building that burned. Okay, the Empire State Building had a plane crash into it in the 1920s, I believe. It burned for like 24 straight hours, and they still managed to put it out, and that building still stands here today. And that was 90 years ago when we didn't have the technology we do today.
And what about that little building that collapsed after the Twin Towers collapsed?
Oh, you mean where they were holding a whole bunch of financial information that was going to implicate, about 150 government officials? Yeah, that mysteriously collapsed.
Yeah, I mean, how would it have been affected by those other two buildings falling?
They said that when the two buildings hit the ground, the shock wave it produced brought down that other building. That's impossible.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
But you know what was in that other building?
Wasn't it the leases or the life insurance, or not the life insurance, but the leases and the insurance to one of the big buildings that guy owned? Gold bullion.
Oh, yeah, I heard that too. That they said they only recovered about 8% of.
Yeah, so you have to ask yourself, where did the rest of it go?
There was about $190 million worth of gold there. They recovered 8% of it. Even if it melts, I mean, they pulled out full, unscathed gold bullions, 8% of it. So you're telling me there weren't any half-melted ones? There weren't any melted ones in a giant pool you could have just picked up and melted back down into bullion? It just disappeared?
And when gold melts, it doesn't completely evaporate. It
doesn't burn off. Gold will not burn off. It'll just sit there in a molten liquid.
Yeah, so it'll just be like this dried-up liquid gold, or dried up puddle of gold is what it would be.
That you could just scrape up, throw it in another pot, melt it down, and put it into bullion again. But they only recovered 8% of the gold in total.
That's a bit strange. Yeah, there's a lot of unanswered questions about that whole situation. That we may never know.
That means they recovered 12 million out of 150 million.
Wow.
Somebody could have got in there and got some of that, stole it.
Do you know how much a gold bullion weighs?
No, I have no idea.
They're like 10 pounds a piece.
Well, just one 10-pound brick is all I'd need.
That's true, but for 92%, so that, let's say, 92%, let's even just say that that's 1,000 pounds of gold. There's no way one person could take that without being noticed.
No, not at all.
And that's only 100 bricks. That's only 100 gold bullions.
You'd need a truck.
Or the, 10 dump trucks that were seen leaving that building the 2 days after 9/11. Yeah,
Clever.
I'm just saying. You got to look at everything from every perspective.
Either that was a coincidence or they actually had it inside them.
Yeah, but that's way too many coincidences to happen in the matter of like 5 days. There's just way too many coincidences. And everybody that came out and refuted what the government said either resigned from their jobs, quit from their jobs, or mysteriously disappeared. Like the scientists that said, one of the guys that used to work for Boeing said, "There's no way that jet fuel would burn off an engine, completely melt it, and it would be gone." He resigned from his position 2 days later and came out and said, "Oh no, what I said was wrong. What the government political advisor said was right. I apologize for the confusion. I have officially resigned from my position."
Yeah, I think I remember hearing about that.
Wow.
September 10th, 2011, there was a press conference. It was on TV. It was about the Pentagon. I forget exactly which alphabet agency was investigating it, but they were investigating $150 billion worth of Pentagon expenses that were unaccounted for. The exact place where the plane/missile hit the Pentagon was the room where all the servers were.
Where's he gone?
We lost audio on him.
No, he's good.
Okay.
So that was they hit the room where all the computers and data were being kept for all those unaccounted for expenses, and that just happened to be the part that got hit. Not to mention all the witness accounts from people that were injured at the Pentagon saying, "Yeah, these people in suits came to visit me in the hospital, and they didn't tell me what to say, but when I told them my side, they were like, 'Are you sure that's what you saw? Are you sure you didn't see a plane? Are you sure you didn't?'" You know what I mean? They coerced them into saying what they wanted, man.
Do you believe in the Men in Black?
That's like alien type shit, so no.
What is it about aliens that you find impossible to believe?
I find the idea of little green men preposterous.
No, I think it's much more realistic than Little Green Men. I mean,
They could be identical to us. They could
think
look
of-
exactly the same.
think about the absolute size of the universe and how big it is. Isn't it? To me, it's difficult to believe that we are the only thing here.
It's not that it's difficult to believe. It's just that for something like that, that's something. I mean, you're not talking about, the government might have been responsible for something. You're talking about, okay, so something that isn't from this world is here. I mean, it's not so much a conspiracy. It's a matter of faith, I would say. You have to. Faith is believing in something that you haven't seen. You have no physical proof on. The whole idea of religion is based around faith. You've never seen, or you've never seen Allah.
If you took faith out of the equation for Christianity, then you have nothing.
Exactly. To believe in aliens, you have to have faith that they exist. It's not that I don't have faith, but I feel like all these UFO accounts and everything else, I feel like, I mean, come on, realistically, we would have some sort of concrete evidence that aliens existed. I mean, we really would have to.
I know that I was watching this show a few weeks back, and it wasn't really about the whole topic, but this one guy was in a conversation with a couple of people. It was one of those scientific type of shows or whatever, and this guy was saying, he was like, he had all these statistics and everything, and I wish that I had a clip of it or something so I could go back and watch. It was really interesting, the points that he made. And he was an astronaut. He had been to space. He had been on. I think he had been on the moon. One of
Are you
those
talking about Buzz
older
Aldrin?
astronauts. No, it wasn't him. It was another astronaut. I'm not sure if he was one of the ones that walked on the moon. I think he was just an astronaut that had been in space. But he totally believed in aliens, and he was talking about the sheer size of the universe, and the length of time that it would take for space travel, even if they had something that traveled fast enough. Because Einstein believed that the universal speed limit is the speed of light, that nothing in the universe can travel faster than the speed of light. So, if there was some alien race out there, that had a ship or had the technology to travel at the speed of light, even at the speed of light, it would take them some like 16,000 years even to get here. So
yeah, but
they
see,
may be on their way.
I was reading an article about ways to pretty much circumvent that, and one of the ways that they were discussing was
Bending space.
Well, yeah, pretty much, but you create a bubble around your space shuttle that... Alright, so it's pretty much antimatter, okay? So everything's made up of matter. This is antimatter. So you, like, surround yourself in a bubble of antimatter, which lets you bend the rules of matter. But the issue with the whole thing is, it's theoretical, it could potentially work, but the issue is you have no way to get out of the bubble once you're in it. There's no way. It would destroy your ship upon touching the edge of that bubble. Your ship would completely cease to exist in a millisecond. There'd be no explosion, there would be nothing. You would simply disappear. You would be nothing. Antimatter, and so everything's made up of matter, and antimatter is the exact opposite. When they collide, it's a huge explosion, but it's a huge explosion of energy, not fire or anything else. It's just a huge explosion of energy, and they cancel each other out. It's like dividing by zero. They cancel each other out. There's nothing there. There ends up being negative things. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, if someone came into contact with antimatter, they would literally disappear. There would be no...
Where does antimatter exist?
This is all kind of theoretical. They've managed to harness a very, very small amount of antimatter. Antimatter occurs when you take two pieces of matter and collide them at the speed of light.
The super collider.
There you go. You collide them at the speed of light, and the energy that's given off is antimatter, but it is the absolute most unstable thing in the entire world. Take nitroglycerin in a vial, shaking it, make it blow up, times that by about 1 trillion times infinity. It is the absolute most unstable. They keep it harvested, you can't even see it. They keep it in a magnetic field. Okay? Have you ever seen the movie Angels and Demons?
I've heard of it. I don't think I watched. It's with Tom Hanks, right?
Yeah, only because they show antimatter inside of a magnetic field. All right, so it's in a magnetic field. It's got two coils, and it keeps it balanced perfectly in the middle. If one of those coils happen to fail, whatever building that's in will cease to exist. It will be such a powerful explosion of just pure energy that it would wipe that entire building off the face of the earth in less than a millisecond. That's how dangerous this stuff is.
Can you measure it? Like, can you have a small amount of antimatter and a lot of antimatter, or is it the same no matter how much you have?
Doesn't matter how much you have. It will automatically cancel out any matter.
So it would be safe to say that they need to stop messing with that shit. They don't even need to try to harness it.
What they call it is the God particle. Have you ever heard anything about the God particle?
No, that doesn't sound familiar.
Well, that's what antimatter is. It's the God particle. If they took antimatter, put it in the magnetic case, shot it, and hit the center of China, China would no longer exist.
It would just wipe the whole entire country off the map.
I'm talking about, like, there would be a hole that goes down into the center of the earth.
Damn.
Like, it doesn't, like, destroy things like a bomb does. It literally erases things from existence.
I see what you mean.
That's what it erases things. Anything it touches will cease to exist. Like, not that it'll blow up, but it'll literally, like, it'll unwrite itself.
Because it's literally the opposite of matter. And if we are matter, then the opposite of matter is nothing.
Exactly. It's just like dividing by zero. That's all it is. You literally cease to exist. Cameron, you still with us?
Cameron? I don't know if he is or not.
No, I don't know. I'm not showing anything.
So it'd be kind of like just disappearing or vanishing.
Yeah. Yes.
Just vanish. I'm gonna.
It's the most unstable thing in the world, and it scares the shit out of me. Because you know when they find something that's dangerous, the first thing they need to do is somehow weaponize it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. As soon as they find something powerful, they immediately start thinking about how can we harness this and what can we do with it? How can we use it as a weapon?
Exactly.
I don't know if Cameron is still with us or not.
I don't know. I'm still working on my PHP scripting over here.
What's that, PHP scripting?
PHP is a computer programming language, and a script is just telling something what to do.
Okay. Have you had any time to take a look at the Google Hangout project anymore yet?
Actually, I was reading some documentation from XSplit, but I was actually looking at other programs that could potentially do it. I might even take XSplit and modify it myself, custom code, to do what I want it to do.
I'm back.
Oh, hey,
okay,
Cameron.
cool. We were wondering where you went.
Yeah, I just went for biz.
So you might
but
even
yeah,
make a custom XSplit type deal?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because then you'd get the results you want versus just looking for the program that has the features you want. You can create the features.
Yeah. Keep in mind, too, that if and when we can come up with this thing, I need it to be user-friendly, or at least I need to be able to use it so that I can set up the Hangout and get everybody in here.
Well, no, I mean, it's not like you'd have to be a computer programmer to use it. All it would be is... So look at Google Hangout, okay? On the left, you see chat, screen share, Hangout Toolbox, Google Effects, YouTube.
Yeah.
All right, so those are your options. Those are things you can choose. Even if I made a custom script, all it would be is another option. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be anything you had to do technical. I'd make a button for it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And upon clicking that button, it runs whatever script or computer code or program I choose it to run.
It seems like... Yes, I found a really good XSplit tutorial on how to set up and
What do you actually want? What you actually want to do?
And I could send that to you at some point in time, Nicholas, so you could kind of get up to speed on exactly how XSplit works, unless you already have done that.
To me, that's cool. And what were you saying, Cameron?
What do you actually want to do with XSplit?
I'll send you a link here in a minute, Cameron, so you can see a podcast that I want to make my podcast look like theirs. Let's see here. Get the XSplit thing.
I so hope I win this thing. They're doing 6 daily winners on this Call of Duty thing. If you retweet and then tweet BO2 hashtag BO2 Revolutions 3 days till blah blah blah. So I've done that and hopefully I win. Someone on a treadmill?
No, it's my computer. The either the fan or the CPU or something makes a lot of noise.
It must be the fan.
Yeah, when I get my mic, you guys shouldn't be able to hear that. Because the built-in mic on the laptop picks that up.
What mic are you getting, the Blue Snowball?
Yes, yeah, it's a Blue Snowball.
How
A
much
friend of mine paid for my webcam and my mic, a really good friend of mine, and has had it shipped to me. I should have it sometime this week. Hopefully by Wednesday's show.
Is it the Yeti?
Huh?
Is it the Yeti, the blue microphone's Yeti stereo, or the Snowball?
I think it's a Snowball.
I don't know. I don't know if it's to get one or not, because they are £100 discounted. So
it was. He paid like $50 for the microphone and like $80 for the camera. The microphone was on sale.
Yeah, it's on sale here as well. Order next one and get it on Monday. I might have to have a look into that because I need a new mic myself.
And Cameron, I'm going to put the link to this other podcast in the chat.
Yeah, I see it.
Hey, Mortiman.
Yeah.
You know, now that Cameron's in here, we could actually jump back quickly to a discussion we had last week about legalization of marijuana. Cameron, what's the marijuana laws like at where you live?
It's completely illegal and you're not allowed it at all.
Okay, what's the punishment?
I think you go to... I think you get a warning, first of all, and then I think you go to prison for having possession of it. I think that's about it. Not then. They take it as like a drug, like so. Literally, you're not allowed it. If you get caught with possession of it, you get arrested, and I think you can get like a. I'm not sure how long it is in prison, but you go to prison for it anyway.
For here in my state, it's quite a while.
Yeah, it's probably roughly the same, but I know in America that it's legalized somewhere, so I don't know.
Only a select few places, but what you got to understand is we have a weird government where we can have different laws on the state and federal level. So like 3 states have it legal, but the federal government says it is still illegal, so they always supersede what the state says.
Right. Yeah, it overrides it.
Yeah. Apparently, you can have a card or something, a prescription.
Yeah, it's for medical patients. They use it the same way one would use Tylenol or anything else.
You just go in and
I personally support full legalization. I mean, I'm 20 years old. If you really think I've never smoked marijuana before, you're kidding yourself. Every person has at least once. At least once somebody has.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
everyone's got to try it.
Yeah.
Like, I've smoked it, whatever. I don't care if it's legal, illegal. If it's legal, it's probably going to curb a lot of the crime that happens in my specific area because a lot of it is over marijuana and other drugs.
Yeah. Also,
I
there's drug dealers and stuff like that making profit and stuff on it.
I don't
Gangs.
see why somebody needs to go to jail for 5 years for having 1 gram of marijuana. And you know what? Marijuana is in the same class as heroin and crystal meth. The government is saying it's that bad for you.
It's not a Schedule 3. It's only a Schedule 1. Schedule 3 is
1's the worst.
cocaine maybe it's backwards. Schedule 1 would be like cocaine and synthetic drugs and stuff like that.
What I actually think of
marijuana is
marijuana,
only Schedule 3. It's a misdemeanor.
what I actually think of marijuana is that it's
Depending on how much of
not
it
as
you
bad
have.
as alcohol.
Huh?
I don't think marijuana is as bad as alcohol.
Tell
No.
me how many marijuana-related deaths you hear of, and then let's send that
Yeah.
statistic to the
I don't-
government.
I can't think of any. I don't think it's possible to overdose on it, and I don't think that it makes
It's
you
not
violent.
possible.
You have to.
Yeah.
It is possible, theoretically. You have to smoke twice your body weight. So however much you weigh, times that by 2, you have to smoke that much marijuana in less than 24 hours. So for me, I'd have to smoke 480 pounds of marijuana in 1 day in order to overdose. That is.
You can overdose on food as well, can't
That's
you?
impossible.
That much.
It's easier for me to go into a sugar coma. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now I wonder if you could turn the THC into a liquid form and inject it.
They already have that.
They already have that.
Yeah, they use it as IV route.
Oh, okay. So I wonder what kind of effect that would have on a person's body.
It's not instantaneous like morphine or any of those would be. It still takes a couple minutes to kick in, but it's no different than, from what I've read and what I've heard, it's no different than smoking it or eating like a pop brownie or anything like that. It's not really any different.
Hmm.
You gotta understand that THC is not why it has medical properties. There's things called cannabinoids, and THC is only one of 36 cannabinoids that marijuana has in it. And each one of the cannabinoids has each medical property. There's one cannabinoid that is perfect for tumors, while another one is good for depression, then another one is good for glaucoma. And what they do is with all these synthetic, I don't know if you've heard of like Marinol, it's a marijuana pill.
No.
Never heard of it.
Okay, that one, there's a couple different varieties, and they all target a specific thing. So it's a cannabinoid in a pill. It's a prescription medication, and you take it. So if you have glaucoma, you're going to take the Marinol Marinol G, and that's going to get rid of your glaucoma, but it provides you with no euphoric high feeling. They also have mouth sprays. You spray it in your mouth, the cannabinoid gets absorbed into your saliva and in your blood, and that'll help you fight lung cancer or throat cancer. There's so many different ways to do it. And right now in China, they are working on THC-free marijuana. So it would have all of the 36 cannabinoids, but no THC to provide that euphoric high. And they're saying that looks very, very promising.
What would they do with that if it doesn't have the THC in it?
Well,
just use it for medical purposes only?
Strictly medical purposes. Because you're not going to get that euphoric high, but it's going to help cure whatever your ailment is.
So it doesn't have to have THC in it to be medically to help you medically.
Nope, there are 35 other cannabinoids in marijuana that have medical properties. THC is only one of them, and all it really does is relieve headaches and give you that euphoric high.
Thing is, if they actually legalized it, I think like a lot of people would be getting high. So that's probably why. It's just like people getting drunk and stuff, isn't it? So
I think the government hasn't figured out a way to make money off of it, or they make more money busting people with it illegally than they could if they
probably do. Because you think about it.
I think that it's the only reason it's not completely legal everywhere is because of money.
Yeah, that's the reason why. Because people grow it themselves. Then the government aren't going to make any profit. It's like alcohol.
You don't understand. You don't understand. The government makes money off of it being illegal. That's why it's not legal. Because the prison system in America is privatized. It's owned by private companies. And the government pays them more for every inmate they have. You need to understand that 31% of people in the prison systems in the United States of America are there for marijuana-related offenses. So you're taking 31% of their profits out of their pocket. You think they're really going to stand for that? And of course, any big company has ties to politics, okay? Every big company has ties to politics. So you're telling me if the companies that own these privatized prisons really are just going to give up 31% of their profits, how are they going to go buy a new Lamborghini?
Yeah, and in the court systems, the lawyers, everybody gets paid when somebody gets in trouble and goes to jail.
Can I just ask a quick question? Do you know that bar with your name on it? How would you actually get that up?
Do you have Hangout Toolbox on the left side of your screen?
Yeah.
Click that, and the first one you'll see is a little guy. You'll see the little options up top. You'll see a little guy with a bar and a red dot.
Nothing came up. It just says loading and it just went off.
I think you have to download it, which only takes a second if you don't have it yet.
Right,
you have to download the app.
Click on the little person icon up there and see what it does. All right, when are we doing another one of these?
We do them every Wednesday and Saturday, so the next one will be Wednesday.
What time?
They're at the same time, 5 o'clock Central Standard Time.
All right, I may join in around 7 o'clock. That's the day I have to go do that violent video game study.
Okay.
It's at 2 p.m. and it's about 5 hours long.
Okay.
So, but I'll make sure to tell everybody about what they made me do and everything like that to get these.
Yeah, I wanna have a discussion about how that went down and what it was like and how what it was like,
I mean, I'm really interested for what they say about what my brain does when I'm playing a violent video game. I'm really quite intrigued to see what it does.
Yeah, bring your A game with you.
Oh, hell yeah. Freaking campers, man!
They're going to pay you $200 and you get to play video games for 5 hours so they can analyze your brainwaves.
Pretty much.
That's pretty cool.
I have to go to a mental hospital to do it, but I think I'm okay with that.
I think that'd be pretty awesome. Yeah, I definitely want to talk about that. In the meantime, I'll be thinking about some other topics to discuss on Wednesday, and if I get my mic and my camera in, I'm going to do an unboxing and make a video about that, and I'm going to do a shout out to my friend for providing that for me, and also going to mention that in the podcast when that all happens. So I hope that it'll be here before Wednesday, but I don't know if it will be or not. In the shipping thing or in the Amazon email, it said I could have it between the 30th and the 3rd, I think, for the camera, and between the 30th and the 15th for the microphone. So I'm assuming it's going to be sooner than later. So maybe I'll get them like Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah.
I hope. That'll.
Mortiman, check the chat.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. When do you want to get together?
I mean, let me know when we end this, whenever we stop broadcasting. I just got a couple things I want to talk to you quick that you're definitely going to like.
Okay, yeah. We can talk via like the little Google chat thing.
Yep.
Or Skype or something.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, as soon as you hit end broadcast, it leaves us in here anyway.
Okay.
So we can just do that. That's fine.
Yeah.
We can just continue the hangout. Just as soon as you hit end broadcast, it'll leave us all in here, but it won't be live and it won't be recording anymore.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Huge bruise on my leg.
How did it happen?
Don't have a fucking clue.
It's a Call of Duty injury.
Yeah, got shot in the leg. It's one of them kill streaks. The hunter killer drone got me in the leg.
Alright, are we all good for tonight? We good with all our topics and everything else?
Yeah, I think we've covered about everything.
And more.
I think that first hangout with everyone in there was a really, really good hangout. I hate the way that it ended. But hopefully that got some decent views and lots of comments. I don't know if I will re-upload that one or if I'll just leave it be. What I did with the last one is I edited and re-uploaded it. But it seems that they get more views when they're live than they do when they're recorded.
Yeah, but you know what? It's good for people who follow your channel that missed it to rewatch it. What I recommend you do is grab both videos, edit both of them, and then combine them together into one video.
That's probably what I'll do. Is I'll just attach this one to the end of the other one, and I'll edit out the part where I'm just sitting there by myself going, "Okay, I'm just waiting for people to join back."
Yep.
And I may do that. It's a really big file, and it's a pain in the butt to do it, but that's what I'll do. and I've got an intro. I've got a new intro that I made online.
I know. I saw it.
Website.
It looked awesome.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can do those for free. There's like several to choose from.
Where did you do it?
You just type in your text. Let me give you the link for it.
All right, why don't we end this broadcast so we're not recording our conversations anymore?
Okay.
Less for you to edit.
Let me bring up the thing so I can end it. Okay, I'll talk to you guys here in a minute. If you're still watching the show, I want to thank you for watching the podcast. Thank you for all your support, and we will see you next Wednesday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time here on the same channel. All right, guys. Well, this is Mortarman with Mortarman TV and the Next Gamer Network. Peace out.